All right, guys, here we go. Welcome to Charlotte. The longest race on the FTF Barr Visual Cup Series season. It's right here, it's right now. Here on FTF.gg, we welcome you to the Barr Visual FTF Cup Series and the FTF.gg World 600K, 600 kilometers, 246 laps around this 1.5 mile speedway in the hub of all things racing, Charlotte, North Carolina. Glad to have you along for the ride, everybody. Jacob Hitz, Justin Prince here with you. Zach Johnson, our producer. And it's going to be a long night, as I mentioned. Things are set up in sim, so we start in the evening time, we go through the night time, and then we'll finish this thing around mid-morning. A little unique for us here tonight.
Yes, indeed. It is 4 times the sunlight moving around tonight, meaning it will be a very quick transition for some cases in terms of the track conditions throughout the evening. That will really test some of the competitors' abilities tonight throughout the 600 kilometers on the docket.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, Blake Reynolds with the playing of our national anthem. Your 24th starting position driver, Blake Reynolds, with the national anthem. Thank you, Blake. Oh, my. All right. Let's go through our starting grid. Here from Charlotte, Malik Ray lines up on pole position. Jordan Worth is supposed to line up to the outside. He had to dip out of the session, but he'll be back before we get going. He lines up in second. Dylan Basin and Brian Mercurio side by side in row 2. Matt Danson and Kevin King, P5 and 6. Kevin King almost won this race a year ago. He ran out of fuel coming off 4 on the last lap. Seth Noel and Michael Guest in row 4. Brandon Hawken and Liam Sheen round out our top 10.
Behind them tonight, it's Jake Poulin in the 11th position of the 00. Then it's Garrett Conrath in 12th. Ryan Doucette, coming off the Rockingham 508 victory earlier this week, starts 13th with Jonathan Oates in 14th. Sean Butler starts 15th tonight with Chris Wentz in 16th. Lucas Bussell starts in 17th spot tonight in the 45. Landon Mills in 18th. Brett McCarry starts 19th. And Matt Spalding, your top 20.
Starting in 21st will be Arndt Reimer. Kevin McAdams will be in 22nd. Spencer Ray and Blake Reynolds make up row 12, with Jacob Case making his debut and Ethan Corder to the outside. Matthew Zwack and Nick Miller in row 14. Nathan Rabideau, Michael Cozy Jr. round out the top 30.
Behind them is Spencer Burns, looking to try and build some momentum from official racing this week. He'll start alongside AJ Green. Clint Roberts starts in 33rd. And then a new driver amongst the field. This is the 114. This is Brandon Featherplace, who will start in front of Michael Rosario, should say, and Michael Frisch. Then it's Nate Stewart and Andy Margot, the top 38. Amongst the final drivers on the grid, Cosman Ineshu starts in 13th. Wyatt, 39th, should say. Wyatt Tinsley in 40th.
Final 3, Gary Waterworth, Robert Dorman, Ryan Nalrocki, shotgun of the field. This field of 43. Here tonight from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We should get rolling here very, very shortly. Here from Charlotte, I think still waiting for a driver or two to pop in. It looks like Kevin McAdams is going to miss the start of this race since he is not yet gridded. And I think we're about to roll here. Maybe. I'm not even sure Kevin's in the session right now. Let me double check. And, oh, no, he is. But grid was extended a couple of times, but I thought we ran it out of time. Guess not.
Either way, these drivers going to have a very fun night, to say the least. This is a challenging racetrack to run for 600 kilometers, let alone 600 miles at a facility such as this. It's one that will test the patience of competitors, test the abilities of drivers on the long run to be able to conserve their tires, test their abilities coming over to the tunnel in turn 1, and especially it seems off turn 4 with the next-gen cars this week across the iRacing platform, their abilities to be able to either keep it from spinning into the artificial turf on the infield or slam into the safer barrier on the outside wall. That balance all will be prevalent tonight.
Take a look at the points coming into tonight as Kevin McAdams is now gridded, so everybody's out there. Brian Mercurio, Blake Reynolds, Dylan all with multiple wins on the season. Fresh, Zwack, Ionescu, and Guest, well, they are all locked in with a win. Nate Stewart, the top person without a win in points. Kevin McAdams right behind, then Logan Helton, Ryan Araki, all the way down through. Michael Cozy Jr. in that 16th spot, which is the championship cutoff, which we won't see in effect for quite a while. Wyatt Tinsley, the first driver out, then Alex Kolonix, who's not here. Nathan Rabideau back there as well. So field is rolling now through turns 1 and 2, and don't get the green flag here this time by, and something that I think we're going to have to watch throughout this race. Saving fuel strategy, especially if we go green. Yeah, 4 stages, but we don't get cautions in between those stages. So they could potentially go green for all 246 laps.
Extra pace lap added for tonight, but you're right on that mileage. That will be a major game plan to think about 65 laps the estimate, give or take. But it also depends on when the cautions fly, on how further you can go compared to that mark. Plenty of strategy which could come into play. How do you slice this down? It comes down to driver preference, especially for nights such as this tonight. It looks like Malik Ray liking towards the top line compared to Jordan Wirth starting in the bottom here when we get the green next time around.
So lights will be out on the pace car here. 1 lap to green. And Art Reimer is asking for an EOL penalty. He's in the 21st position. Let's see if they give him one. That doesn't sound like it's going to happen. But yeah, so count around here. We got about half a lap until we get the green flag. Get this thing underway here from Charlotte. Malik Ray will start on the outside here. Chose the outside. That's what he's going to go for. Jordan Wirth lines up on the bottom. And I think we're in for a pretty good show, all things considered. Just have to wait and see. So they come down the back straightaway and get ready to roll.
I think we're going to see a very good show tonight. It's the matter of which driver will succeed in a night such as this one. Plenty of talent scattered throughout the pack. Malik Ray's in a good spot with this control car spot. Keep in mind, it could be busy with Mercurio, King, several others right on his heels right to start.
Here we go. Malik Ray choosing the outside for this, the initial start of the FTF.GG World 600K. Pace car is in. Glad you're watching. Let's do this. Green flag in the air. We are underway from Charlotte.
Oh, and what happened to Wirth? He nearly got ran over on the start.
Bad start for Jordan Wirth. He's going to drop back a couple of spots, maybe a half dozen, before he gets it up to speed. Wonder if maybe he missed a shift or something. Caution flag is out. Nate Stewart has crashed in turn 1. Somebody... Oh, they had a huge stack up as a result of Jordan Wirth. And it was Michael Rosero that had to lift to avoid getting into the back of Clint Roberts, and Nate Stewart had nowhere to go but into the back end of Rosero. And then it was the 84 of Cosmo Ionescu that got into the back of Stewart and turned him to the inside wall. So we make it, I don't know, 5,000 feet or so, and we're under caution.
Still a decent takeoff height, but it's still not a good start. You see the issue for Worth right from the jump. This boxes everyone up. There are 3 wide in the grass in front. Rosero nowhere to go in the JRS racing machine. Stewart gets hit from behind as well. That's what really triggers it when it comes to Stewart's damage. Bad luck for the number 4 machine right from the get-go.
No fast repairs. So any damage that you get, you're going to have to live with for the rest of the race. How about Dylan Basin, though, now in the 2nd position? Matt Danson sitting in 3rd. And Jordan Worth falls back to P number 6 under this, our first caution. We made it not even a quarter of the lap.
Drivers are already being told about the positions in terms of how you're supposed to take the starts and where you are supposed to be in terms of your tire marks around the track. That will be very critical to consider here as you take a look at Basin, who jumped to 2nd because of that. Dylan Basin in a really prime spot here to attack Malik Ray from the get-go as a result of the stack-up. Keep in mind, lots to consider here with plenty of drivers, 30th on back, having to pit from the craziness.
Yeah, a lot of guys coming onto pit road. Cosman is in, Nate Stewart, Clint Roberts, Wyatt Tinsley decides to pit, as well as Matthew Zwack, Michael P. Frisch, Spalding, Rabideau, Reimer, Rosero, Brett Punkari, Michael Cozy Jr. all coming in to make stops. A really rough night for Cozy, all things considered. Qualified back in the 30th position, and he's going to take advantage and come onto pit road here under this first caution flag. Maybe make a couple of adjustments and get some new tires on that thing. His Logitech Gialta's teammate sits P3 and Matt Danson.
Keep in mind, if drivers elect to take the sets now, there are 8 sets available in the pits. It may sound like a lot until you get to lap 240 and you realize you may have used too many sets early. That will be a factor drivers will have to consider here. By the way, sunset is approaching and quickly in sim. It's already 8 p.m. in sim. With the times for speed, that will be in about 15 minutes.
It won't be very long until the lights are at full blast and the sun will have gone down. Choose cone. Lights are out on the pace car, so we do the choose cone here going into turn number 1. It's the apron line. If you're on the inside of if you're on the apron, you'll be on the bottom. If you're on the outside, so right there is where the line starts. So Basin chooses the bottom side. Malik Ray chooses up top. Brian Mercurio goes to the top side, as well as Jordan Worth, Matt Danson, Kevin King. They're all going to drop downstairs and be on the bottom for this restart.
Well, the bottom line, keep in mind, Jacob, on the mid to long run portion of the track is the preferred line, because that's where the tire wear is lower compared to the higher lines around the wall, around the middle. It's good to pass up there, but it's very difficult to save up there, so to speak. So that is an understandable decision. But on the restarts, that top line is very prevalent off turn 2 to clear that driver to your inside.
Let's see if they can make it more than a quarter of a lap this time around. Malik Ray choosing the outside yet again. He's going to lead us down to the restart. And for those of you wondering, sunrise in sim around 5-ish in the morning or so. I'm feeling we're going to hit that in sim with the 4x speed, but we'll just have to wait and see. I know that's the goal. Ray and Basin on the front row for the restart. Malik Ray will bring them down. Pace car is in, and we're back to green here from Charlotte.
And Ray really waiting to bunch them up here. What a launch!
All the way up by the wall. And he's going to leave everybody in the dust going into turn number 1. Basin clear for second, side by side for third between Danson and Mercurio as they come off turn 2.
Hard fighting in the midst of the pack right from the get-go. 3 wide, Kevin King. He wants to show his style to the inside.
Kevin King is hungry. He lost this race in the final 1,000 feet a year ago, trying to redeem himself here. He is in that third spot, clear of Danson, and is hard charging after Dylan Basin. Malik Ray leads the first lap under green, side by side for fourth, between make that fifth, Michael Guest and Mercurio.
Mercurio, not a good start whatsoever, it seems. Finally getting himself single file. But he has a lot of drivers who have momentum behind him, ready to pounce if the opening comes back up. Seth Noll right behind him, Jordan Worth, Liam Sheen. Several different competitors amongst that group who have some experience working together 2x2 behind him.
Right behind him as well, Garrett Conrath, the winner a year ago, alongside Brandon Hawken. Got a blinker up in front, that's Noll. But everybody keeps it clean. Liam Sheen drops in behind Jordan Worth, still side by side for that 11th, make it 10th position between Conrath and Hawken.
Already you see even some of those teammates on the technical side of the iRacing platform really not giving too many breaks. Conrath showing that slip and slide effect we talked about a bit in turn 4 exit.
Turn 4 definitely not easy to drive in these things. And the longer these guys go, the less grip they have in the tires, the harder it's going to be to get off of corner number 4. Jordan Worth able to clear Sheen once again. Side by side, Jonathan Oates getting passed by Landon Mills. Mills will make that pass without a problem. That could open the door for Ryan Doucette closing in. Can't quite get to the back door, though, of that 73 of Jonathan Oates.
Oates up to 13th. Already the biggest movers amongst this pack. Some of them were in the pit strategy windows. Ryan Naraki up 16th positions to 27th already. Lots of competitors shuffling in the early going, but plenty of time to think about things towards the midway portion of this run as we look at the back straightaway. Some of the Logic G-Altus Esports machines looking to move forward. Doucette has a lot of momentum from earlier this week, Jacob.
Winning the Rockingham 508, sure he does. Closing in on Oates for the 13th position. Meanwhile, side by side, just up the road, Brandon Hawken back underneath Garrett Conrath, and he's going to bring Landon Mills with him. 10th, 11th, 12th right there.
The big thing when it comes to Doucette, had the chance to speak with him earlier this week as part of a podcast interview. He called that race win at Rockingham the biggest victory in his sim racing career. So a lot of confidence for Ryan Doucette entering tonight for this one. As you see Hawken looking to cut ahead underneath a few of the competitors who work with them, such as Sheen and Mills.
Yeah, and there goes Sheen up the hill. He'll lose a couple of spots side by side further back. Here comes, let's see, that's Blake Reynolds flying around the outside of Doucette, now to the inside of Jonathan Oates. Blake Reynolds is flying here on this restart. It is now up into 13th and looking at the back door of Conrath for 12th. Here it goes.
Not a surprise to see Blake Reynolds flying through the field here tonight. Of course, we heard his abilities with Kazoo, but he's been able to really perform well in this series and throughout this entire season when it comes to the 66 machine. That respective group looking strong, third in the owner's points, entering tonight for first 4 racing. Oh, and what a save!
Oh. Conrath dirt tracking it off the corner. I can't believe he held on to that thing. That thing was out of control, and he didn't really lose all that much time. He goes to the outside here to try and gain his momentum back, trying to reel in Liam Sheen side by side just in front of them. Landon Mills, Brandon Hawkins side by side. That's for P10.
Oh, and the battle for the lead is on. Kevin Kane is underneath Malik Ray. Kane has shown pace in the fixed series all throughout the year. He is good long run. He's showing that now.
So close to winning a year ago, and here he goes for the lead early on. He's got it. Kevin King to the front here at Charlotte. Let's see if Malik Ray can mount a charge and see how that thing handles in traffic. Peeks to the inside. Here he goes.
Malik Ray really doesn't want to give up this clean air. All throughout the year we've seen with this car how critical it is to be able to help rotation at the head of the pack. Still side by side, Basin and Danson right there in the popcorn seats.
And Basin up the hill. Here comes Matt Danson down to the bottom. Side by side for the top 4. Kevin King on the outside. Malik Ray gets a little bit loose, squeezes in line to protect the spot from Basin. Kevin King continues to lead. Here comes Danson peeking on the inside. Basin shuts the door.
A massive slam at the door for Basin. One of the major things emphasized by a lot of the real-world competitors, especially those discussing this with the virtual counterparts, do not give up the blue line. We've seen how big that is. Here is a look with Basin as he is up on the wheel. quite literally right now. Also, he has to make sure that Goodyear Eagle doesn't roll away.
Well, there's that. I mean, as long as it doesn't bump into him, I think it'll be okay. But
here's the choo-choo train effect, though we talked about with the blue line, that top 6 grouping looking very consistent in the 30.7s. Majority of the pack 2/10 slower right now, especially if you're back here.
on the high side, Michael Guest trying to make something happen, getting by Danson. And he does so just fine. I set forward on the battle in front between Basin Ray and Kevin King. Here he goes to the outside of the 04.
Oh, and look at Michael Guest.
Got it. Takes third.
Michael Guest has done this a lot when it comes to this type of racing. Just sees an opportunity, says, you know what? I feel him quicker. Just zooms on by to the outside. It will hurt him a little bit tire wear-wise later, but Basin already knows he needs to back it up. Keep it patient. There's a long way to go still.
Sights set now for Michael Guest. Onto the back bumper of Malik Ray. As everybody single file all the way back to the battle between Chris Wetz and Ethan Corder for the 18th position. That's the first side-by-side battle we see. With Spencer E. Burns looking up the middle, 3 wide. Not quite going to make it, though.
Trying to pass by the movie paint scheme into the inside of Ethan Corder. Wyatt Tinsley from the very back of the pack. 40th spot also in the mix. Some of the massive movers right here. What a charge for Wyatt Tinsley in the Star Spangled Banner machine.
Tinsley's had a lot of speed over these last couple of weeks. Hasn't quite had the ability to seal the deal yet here in FTF, but he's looking to do so here tonight, side-by-side with Corder for 20th. Of course, Tinsley fresh off of a eNASCAR qualifying iRacing series win back at Dover a couple of weeks ago.
See just nowhere to go, especially with a lot of the trouble on the outside. That's Chris Wetz all over the track.
Burns got really loose there coming off 4 as well. And now Corder right to the back bumper of Spencer Burns. But they're all going to hang on as Chris Wetz just gets up to the outside of the racetrack, says, all right, boys, go right on ahead. How about the battle for P9? Blake Reynolds, Landon Mills side by side. Brandon Hawkin right in the tire tracks of Reynolds trying to get by him.
All the pro drivers trying to migrate to the front. 2, 3, 4, and now 9th if Blake Reynolds can make this move. Caution is out. Spawning into the pits. And more trouble involving several others, including Better Place. Welcome to the series.
Got run over by Spalding in turn 4. Hard a nose into the outside wall for Fetter Place. And Spalding just brought it to pit road. After getting into the back of him, we'll see a replay here. A lot of front end damage to that 114 machine. And he comes down to the bottom. Spalding's got to run and bump. See ya. Hard hit to the outside wall for the 114. Props to everybody else for getting by and not hitting the tire barrier or the barrels there at the end of the pit road wall.
Yes, he didn't get the blue line. Just a little bit quicker. Spalding with the shorter distance around. Spalding just avoiding the wall, yes. Obviously, massive speed on through EOL penalty regardless of what happened there. But Feather Place, not what he would have wanted to see. That team, mind you, in that 114, they do compete that respective group. If you look at the logos around the car and other different major sim racing series against drivers such as Kevin King, and that respective camp picked up speed entering the past couple months. Feather Place not able to carry it over here tonight at least yet. Pit stops though.
Strategy, yeah. Though. Guest, Ray, Basin, and Hawkin all stay out, as well as Kevin McAdams and Chris Wetz. The rest of the field, for the most part, is on pit road. What the? I don't know what happened to Sean Butler, but he pitted, and he stayed out here. He pitted back on lap 21. Back under that first caution flag. Was on pit road for quite a while, but he is back in contention now. Him and Cozy, the two that stayed out that pitted under that first caution flag. Blake Reynolds wins the race off pit road. Him and Oates took fuel only, it looks like. Kevin King off with 4 tires. Just a note, Cozy only took fuel as well when he pitted 21 laps ago. Ethan Corder looks like he took 2 tires. Everybody else fuel only or 4 tires throughout the back half of the field.
It makes sense when you think about the fuel mileage possibly for the end of the first stage or so, maybe even the second stage. But here's the thing, and I've seen 2 different series do this in the past couple days alone, Jacob. You take 2 tires at Charlotte with the next-gen car. It is not a pretty sight. Overall, over the course of 25 laps, I've seen drivers lose 6 seconds to the race leader. So all the track position, it's good in the short term. Long term, you're dropping back.
Yep. Chris Wetz decided to pit here. He was one of the guys that chose to stay out. So he'll come onto pit road, as will Nick Miller and Ethan Corder, perhaps just to top off. 1 to green. So we're going to choose... Or no, we're not 1 to green, but we're not... Okay, never mind.
Yeah, we're at 2 to go. We're at 2 to go. Don't panic. But Michael Guest, he might make a few drivers up at the head of the field panic because he is incredibly fast right now.
Really fast on that opening green flag run. I just gotta wonder. Yeah, we've got 9 sets. 8 sets in the pits of tires, but man, I think I would rather be on freshies here after 25 laps than be out there on heat cycle tires. 2 tires is a death sentence, I think. But I don't know. That's just me. I'd rather get 4 tires here.
But here's the tough thing about the 4-tire call early on. If you have to have that set later on, or rather, you have someone who has the set in the final, say, 30 laps of a race, such as this one tonight, that driver with the extra set may zoom on by you in the late stages if they have enough laps. It's a catch-22 situation. Do you think big picture, try and set yourself up for the end of the first couple stages? Or do you try and go for the race win big picture-wise? There's also much to consider here. Choose cone coming up, 1 to go.
See what they do. Michael Guest kind of showing his car. Looks like he's going to pick the bottom, and he will. Malik Ray will go up top. And no real surprises throughout the field as far as choosing goes. Doesn't look like anybody hit it, which is a good thing, at least up front. How about Kevin McAdams?
Well, a couple cars in the choose are trying to collide into each other. Feather Plates had the dodge. Clint Roberts and a couple others may have just ran into each other back there in the 30s.
Yeah, they come to a dead stop here on the front straightaway.
Well, somebody hit somebody back there, and I think it was the seen red card Ethan Corder hit by Roberts. By the way, it's dark. The lights are on. I think the temper's already overflowing, and we're not even at the end of the first stage.
Sounds about right. Stages are the end of lap 50, lap 100, lap 150, and then the end of the race. So we go about 100 laps in that last stage, 50 laps everywhere else. Michael Guest on the inside line, the first leader to choose the inside line here for the restart. Malik Ray up on the outside. Pace car is in. We're back to green. 26 laps complete. Green flag. Really late start there for Guest.
This boxes everyone up as a result. Ray still wobbling around, though, into turn 1. Think Guest has the better run here. Hawken looking to poke.
Wow, man. Sean Butler all over the back door of that 99 of Brandon Hawken, at least coming off the corner. Top 2 single file, Basin down on the inside. Hawken on the outside. Here comes Butler flying up the middle. He's got fresh tires compared to those 2 guys. Almost contact here off 4. They're all able to hang on, and Butler gets to the inside without a problem.
Not going to be easy to defend, though. Kevin King is coming, the first driver on 4 tires. And everyone is boxing up behind Butler and Hawkin on that top line trying to make passes.
Kind of the cork in the bottle here coming down the back straightaway, and you're right, Kevin King is flying around this outside line. He wants to get by Blake Reynolds. Problem is there's no room to do so. Landon Mills looking to do the same thing. He's on 4 fresh tires as well. Got Michael Cozy Jr. down there on 4 tires that are newer than some, but not compared to others. And this is allowing the guys on the oldest tires to scoot away a little bit in this top 3, but now Sean Butler starting to emerge a little bit, and here comes Kevin King right to the back door of Kevin McAdams.
There goes one of the drivers who are the cork to the bottles. Kevin McAdams, though, looking pretty solid up there. Might be opening up some lanes here for the 29. Or Kevin King can say, you know what, I like my own lanes. Thought about 3 wide there.
I think Jonathan Oates may have got the wall off turn 4. He seemed a little off pace, but got everything going now. And here comes King. Round the outside of McAdams. He will take away yet another position that puts him into P number 5. Back into the top 5 for Kevin King. It did not take him very long, and for those guys that chose to stay out, I think they're taking notes right now that 4 tires might be better than none.
Especially at this part of the race, if you want the stage points. And if we get long green flag runs, that kind of mitigates the difference of the tires. You get caution, bring caution, it's a different story. King now already up to 3rd, as you see more box ups with Basin, who stayed out under the caution.
Kevin King to 3rd. He is still flying. He's running more than 2/10 a lot quicker than the top 2. Oh, trouble! 63, Liam Sheen down through the grass, front straightaway. Can he hang on? Down through the grass, looks like he's going to keep it out of the racing line and out of harm's way. Liam Sheen got loose coming off turn 4 and bounced off the quarter panel of Michael Cozy Jr. That's what sent him down into the infield grass. Did a couple of jumps through the short track that's down there. Meanwhile, for the lead, Kevin King around the outside. He's there for Michael Guest.
Fresh tires versus old tires. Fresh tires will win out every time if you give enough time to set things on up. Here they zoom around. Oh, and look at a bunch of the craziness as Ray does not want to give up any more spots here. Hawkin getting blocked in. Butler wants a way around all this.
Man, they are just stacking up all over the place up here at the front. Look at this. Landon Mills on those fresh tires got away, and Guest and Malik Ray are side by side for the, well, not for the lead, for 3rd. You'd think it's the lead because of how far out in front the top 2 got.
This is a massive boondoggle for King and Landon Mills of all drivers, who is in 2nd. 2 drivers from the team have ran away from the Hornet's Nest in a half here.
Already a 1.6 second lead between 2nd and 3rd, and that continues to grow as the pack just continues to stack on up. In this pack, though, it's a lot of folks that are on older tires. Then you've got the 5 of Wyatt Tinsley. He's the first one in this pack that's on fresher tires, trying to claw his way through, but he is boxed in on the bottom.
Both of these drivers really not making too many friends here. Somebody clear somebody.
How about 3rd line up at the top? That's Basin. He's on the older tires.
Oh,
caution.
Oh, and that was coming. That's just behind the box up here.
Yeah, that's AJ Green that's around. He got into Jonathan Oates and caused the caution. Just a 2-car spin. Everybody did a good job of avoiding it. Well, I lied. Somebody just hammered down the fence like they're an ARCA driver. Who was that? That's, about Cosman. Went up
well,
the sidewall. Here's the replay.
Well, it's the beef car who is involved in this one. Indeed, there's the help for Oates. And here comes the stack up. Where does Cosman come into this?
There
Looks okay.
Pow.
There he is, yep. Pow.
Hard hit.
I was about to say, this was to be expected, Jacob, when you're running 7/10 slower than the race leaders in the pack.
Yep. Well, now what do? If you pitted under that last caution, do you dare pit again? Pits are going to open here. Let's see what Kevin King decides to do. Looks like he's going to stay out, as will Mills. Malik Ray will as well. Blake Reynolds is going to lead some cars onto pit road. Reynolds has already pitted once, and he's going to bring Dylan Basin down, Kevin McAdams, Jonathan Oates, Matthew Zwack, and more cars in the back of the field. So most of the field stays out, including those that haven't pitted yet.
Kind of like this, though, for Reynolds and company. Fuel only once again, so he's thinking big picture here. Try and save as many sets of tires for as late as possible here in case they are very prevalent later. A lot of the other drivers I've noticed here in the sequence too, they're also thinking along those lines. Lots of fuel onlys, only 1 or 2 of the drivers, maybe 3, taking any sort of tires here.
Under our third caution flag here from Charlotte, 12 laps away from the end of stage number 1. We'll step aside, we'll go to a break. Kevin King, your race leader here at Charlotte. We're back after this. Eleven laps to go in stage number 1 here on the restart. Kevin King on the outside, Brandon Hawkin on the inside. Here from Charlotte for the FTF.GG World 600. Pace car is in. For the subscribers, you get to see this restart. Oh, or if you're on YouTube. Here we go, green flag, big stack up there for Hawkin on the inside line. And nobody gets going downstairs. That allows Kevin King and Landon Mills to scoot away to turn 1.
The team is in full sync from the get-go, it seems, here tonight. The top 2 off to a good start again, but a lot of slipping and sliding for those on the older tires. Some struggles coming in towards the end of this first stage.
Sean Butler looks like he's just hanging on. Here comes Tinsley on the fresher tires, looking around the outside of Butler. Going to get the spot. Mercurio right in tow. And the top 2 just scooting away, and Brandon Hawkin kind of holding everybody up, as well as Guest and Malik Ray. They're all on the older tires, have yet to make a pit stop.
And remember how boxed up things got last time. This could get crazy yet again. Not as crazy so far because Guest hasn't been able to find a run side by side with Ray yet, but Tinsley, he wants to showcase those a little bit fresher tires. The next closest car on the freshest tires, 21st, Kevin McAdams.
Yeah, they're buried back in traffic. Not a lot of people decided to pit under the most recent caution. A lot of people staying out, and a lot of people chose that outside line, so really not much for those that decided to pit under that most recent caution. He just lost a lot of track position more than anything, but remember, there is no caution when we get to lap 50 for the end of the stage. So Tinsley gets by. He's now P4 with 7 laps to go, make it 8 laps to go in stage number 1 as he tries to chase down Hawken. Hawken misses the bottom of the racetrack, and here comes Tinsley for P3.
Side by side up the road, Jordan Worth, he's seen the backdrop also on the prowl after his mistake early. He's on the same strategy as the 5. Those two, some of the quickest cars on the racetrack right now, outside of your race leaders. Keep an eye on that 98.
Almost contact down the front straightaway. Spencer Burns and Michael Rosero. Burns gets the spot, and it is just too wide like we're at Talladega back here. Malik Ray and Guest just clogging up the lanes down the back straightaway with a vice grip over, well, 8th on back.
At this point, somebody has to try and make it 3. This is getting a bit absurd.
Conrath trying. Doesn't have the speed to make it work, though. And then Sean probably won't because he's on older tires as well down there on the bottom, as well as Cozy in that 99. Here they come.
You talk about parking the bus. This is trouble.
Wide. Oh, Spencer Burns getting knocked around. Seth Noel around the outside. 3 wide with Rosero, and he makes it work. He's going to do it again, this time on Danson. Look at that one. Just dancing around these guys. Whoa, look out. He takes out the Logitech Gialta's cars in Danson and in Cozy. There is no caution as Danson's on the apron. We stay green. Now the caution's out. Oh, my. Look out. Oh, I can't believe Danson didn't just get punted there. Coming back up onto the racetrack. But 3 wide gone wrong, and teammates bring out the caution.
That's 774, not making too many friends. But I will say this, it's been effective in terms of being able to hold on to the positioning. It's tough, though, if you're behind that, when everybody wants to go, and you get boxed in knowing you've got stage points coming up, and you kind of want to go.
Not sure if we'll get a restart in here or not to end the stage. I think we might maybe get a 1-lap dash, or I'd never remember how the hell we do stages here. If we do overtime for stages or not, we don't get them enough.
I mean, the Circuit of the Americas a few weeks back put on a lot. Oh my gosh. Herein, they're taking a lap away from the pace laps to be able to get the stage in. Kane and Mills in control of the field, though. 1-2 for the team.
And they're all going to stay out. Michael Guest and Malik Ray are going to sacrifice the stage points, as will Sean Butler, as will Garrett Conrad. Seth Noel, who was flying, he's going to come onto pit road. And the back half of the field are going to come in as well. Kind of surprised to see these guys pitting that much right before the end of the stage. But I guess for most of these guys, they're thinking end of the race, not end of stage.
Exactly. They're thinking big picture here. If they want to be able to get the victory, they have to be able to try and take the stop now. It makes logical sense. It puts you at a mark at about less than 200 to go. And when you slice it up on strategy, that's about, give or take, a 2 to 3 stopper from here, Jacob, depending on how the rest of this run, the rest of the race fares out. It's huge. And what's going on with Sean Butler? He's got a problem.
What the heck?
What just happened? He just went in the grass on the pit exit racing with Matthew Zwack, and he hit the grate on the exit. This is a danger spot all night, Jacob. You go too low on that access road on the apron, you're spinning into the safer barrier.
Kept it out of the wall, but yep, hit that bump that's down there. I think as he was throttling up, and that was enough to get the car sideways. Here's the replay. Side by side with Matthew Zwack. Zwack was the one that came over the radio, and ba-dum, around he goes.
There was a race I called last night, Jacob. 2 different drivers hit that grate during race conditions alone. One spun up onto the track, both times thankfully under caution, If that was under green, that may have been the end of his race.
One lap to green. Kevin King, your race leader. Time to choose going into turn number 1. And King chooses the outside. Landon Mills goes to the bottom. Tinsley to the top. Mercurio to the bottom. 1 lap to decide the winner of stage 1 here from Charlotte.
But I think for Kanan Mills, that fight may be fairly intense, but we know how much is at stake for Kevin King, how much motivation is behind the wheel of Mr. King. 11 in the points entering tonight, still looking for his first victory in this Cup Series this year.
And like I said, he was so close to the win. Needed not even a gallon of gas last year to win this race. Instead, he wound up coming up short to Garrett Conrath, who motored by him, coming off 4 on the last lap to get the race win. In sim, the time is 10:15. We're already motoring along through this nighttime. We haven't even finished stage 1 yet. Kevin King, Landon Mills going to lead us down to the 1-lap dash for stage 1. Remember, we do not get a caution at the end of the stage, so we keep on keeping on. But here we go. King on the outside, Mills on the inside. King on the gas early. Mills wasn't ready for it. Green flag, and everybody is stacked up behind Kevin King.
Stage points definitely in hand for the 29 to possibly win the stage. Who will get the rest of the top 10, though?
Here they come, off 2. Wyatt Tinsley round the outside of Brian Mercurio for that 3rd spot. Spencer Burns sits in 5th. Dylan Basin back in 10th, trying to make a charge for a spot on Michael Rosero. Not going to make it in time, though. Kevin King will win stage 1. Stage 2 ends at the end of lap 100, so 50 to go till we get to the end of stage 2. And at that point, we'll be about 25 laps shy or so from halfway.
Mercurio looking hungry to be able to get some positions. Meanwhile, after all these points have been settled out here, he's among the top contenders to keep an eye on for tonight. He always loves to race in FTF competition. He's on the prowl. He's running quicker than the race leaders at the moment by about a half a tenth or so.
Here comes Jordan Worth on the outside in P6. Great run for Jordan Worth. Qualified up in that 2nd spot. And here he is, right in the thick of things, right in front of Rosero, trying to get around Spencer Burns here on the outside. Worth pitted on the same lap as everybody that's around him here. About 29 laps to go.
Basin still boxed in. Ryan Doucette, he went to the back after his pit strategies earlier. Trying to really roll that bottom side right now, but he's in a tough spot with 3 wide. Hawken is struggling.
Yeah, Hawken, he still has yet to pit. And I think he's regretting that. Been more than 50 laps since that 99 has pitted for fresh tires. So he is just sinking through the field like a brick in a 2-foot creek right now.
Give credit to Ethan Quarter amongst this charge ahead, up to 9th after the contact during one of the choose cone situations. He's looking pretty sporty, but remember, he's on the fuel strategy that took him with no tires under his last stop. He's under attack by those in some of the fresh tires.
Here they come off 4. Oh, man, contact between Burns and Jordan Worth. Rosero got the wall. They all hang on. Worth gets the spot. And Spencer Burns is going to lose 1 spot, maybe more. Here comes Rosero to the outside. Dylan Basin looking as well.
Rosero really losing momentum from all those checks-ups. Burns really trying to sidetrack throughout all this here, too.
On board with Basin in the 04. And a blocked right in behind.
Oh, and what is Basin doing? 3 wide and through the quad oval. Trying to go to the grass to make it.
3
It
wide.
worked, though.
Yeah, it rarely works going 3 wide in the quad oval. Normally we see how it doesn't work and people get hooked on into the wall. But they make it work here, and man, that 99 is just pulling over. That's how off pace that 99 of Brandon Hawken is.
Oh, he's coming into the pits. He's coming in at 55 laps. This is earlier than we thought, Jacob.
He needed to pit. He should have pitted under caution. He'll probably, you live and you learn, and we'll see what he decides to do. How about we go on board with the 4? Nate Stewart back in 22nd. See how he's recovering. Oh, how about this? 3 wide after the crash on the opening lap for that 4. Hung right here in the middle with Noel and Gary Waterworth. He fits in line though.
Really calm right now. Keyword for now, because you have Waterworth in a baseball paint scheme instead of its normal SpongeBob look. You have Michael Frisch boxed in. You have a traction car.
There we go.
Is behind him.
There goes Frisch into the inside wall. Waterworth got loose, and I think a bumper grabbed Frisch to the inside. Still no caution. He is stuck in the wall, I think. Nope, he's good. But Frisch is going to lose all the time in the world. And not a good look for the driver of the 58.
That was Spencer Ray who was behind him. There was a big checkup with Waterworth in that sequence. You seen the concern coming over the radio too with Nate Stewart. That is a technical alliance mate. By the way, Caden Mercurio, 3/10 the gap. About 4 now.
Nick Miller all over Michael Rosero. Almost got into him coming through 3 and 4. That's the battle for 9th. Here comes Malik Ray flying on those new tires, slicing and dicing his way through the field just past Kevin McAdams, then cut him off like he's on traffic on I-95. And here he comes, charging to the front.
And that John Jones back driver's really boxed in amongst the craziness here. Rosero put in a lot of work to improve his skills throughout the year. Now he's got a face full of Jordan Worf as he tries to finally get a break. Problem is, the fresh tire calls from the last caution. Blake Ray's leading that pack.
And he is a-coming. He's about even on time with the top 2. But then again, he's also caught up in some traffic. And Malik Ray has really now found his groove. And Blake Reynolds is pretty much just following him through the carnage as Landon Mills has really dropped off the pace. He was in 2nd. He's back to 6th and losing time in a hurry.
Did he burn up the tires? Trying to push and keep up with his teammate from the team in King, his boss. That time absolutely falling off. 31 flats the past 5 laps, on average 3/10 slower than the race leaders currently.
Right in the way now of Ray and Reynolds. Let's see how they get by, if they can get by that 25. Kind of get boxed in line, and now here comes Malik to the outside of that 25. And that puts him in position number 7, right behind Ryan Doucette.
I think the patience levels for some are about to wear a little bit thinner. How about Butler you see in the midst of all that with Michael Guest? A fresh line, that top. The older tire line really forming up on the bottom throughout all this craziness. Worth now under attack as he loses the bottom in all of this.
Yep, there goes Jordan Worth, and things are starting to stack up right behind him. You got Sean Butler right there. Rosero and Nick Miller still side by side. Kevin McAdams, Garrett Conrath all in the bunch back there as well.
And you have to be very careful in this type of a situation, Jacob. Your head has to be on a swivel because there are multiple different strategies. Lots of fuel onlys, lots of 2 tires, lots of 4 tires under the recent caution. If you don't pay attention to what everyone is doing for this strategy, you could get yourself in massive trouble here. A lot of give and take being given to those they know who are on the different strategies.
Ray and Reynolds get by Doucette. They now focus in on Spencer Burns in position number 5 as they come off turn 2. They are a-flying. Reynolds and Ray, 2 of the fastest cars on the racetrack, as well as Michael Guest, who joins the party right behind them.
Not shocked to see their pace picking up. We've seen this especially from Blake Reynolds. Blake Ray, Remember last year, it was a wacky race at Charlotte, so to speak, in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. Ray was in the conversation for his first career victory in the series, picked up a top 5 finish that night. He's starting to carry a bit of that speed over from the last race at Charlotte in the Gen 6 car to the next-gen car here tonight.
Oh, man, Reynolds got the apron right behind Malik Ray there. Might lose some time to Michael Guest. Here comes Sean Butler, who pitted under that last caution. Now side by side with Doucette, looking to get by him going into one.
And those different lines still having to be playing a factor. We talked about the bottom line better for the tires saving. As we've seen though, if you can get yourself to the outside and are daring enough to try it, you can pinch that driver below, force them to lift off the gas, have to crank that wheel a little bit more for themselves, burn up their own tires as well, and in turn get yourself clear. It's important to clear on exit though, otherwise you open the door back for the defense.
Feel bad for Sean as well. His Mets are losing 11-3 to the Rockies.
Don't tell him that now.
Well, if I have to suffer because the Phillies can't win a ball game, he has to suffer too when the Mets lose 1 out of every 10 games.
Well, you could be Cincinnati in the Reds.
That's true. I don't think we're too far behind. He gets by Burns. He'll just follow, really, Blake Reynolds and Michael Guest, as Malik Ray has climbed himself into 4th, trying to close in on Dylan Basin, who was one of the fastest cars here, and got off strategy compared to these other guys just by a little bit. And now they're trying to catch her.
I still think long-term this could work out for those who took the tire set, especially if it was their first set, right before the end of that first stage during the caution, because they can go further than everybody else, obviously. But it sets them up in a very good spot strategy-wise in general for the race. Everybody else who hadn't come in the previous caution or two, they have to pit in the next 15-20 laps here. And guess who cycles to the front? Ray, Guest, Reynolds, Butler, 1, 2, 3, 4, if that happens.
We're about 30 laps away from the end of stage 2 here at Charlotte. Kevin King continues to lead this race, but he has got some company in the rearview mirror. Brian Mercurio is slowly but surely reeling in our race leader.
You mentioned the tire wear coming in a little bit for some, with the differences. Mercurio just that little bit quicker in terms of long run tempo, despite being in the draft this run, and that's the major thing I've noticed. It's almost like with the next-gen car, you love clean air, obviously, here in stock car racing. But if you almost get too much, seen in some cases, Jacob, depending on the feel of your car, you get really squiggly, such as Kevin McAdams here.
Battle right behind him. Good little pack. Conrath and Mills side by side. Jordan Worth in that. Nick Miller. Cozy in there as well. Matthew Zwack. Spencer Ray there in the 6 on that outside line.
2x2, 4 rows deep, in fact, here. Possibly about to be 5 rows deep. It's great battling in the mid-pack right now. Nick Miller wants to come in this time by, however. He's just indicated it from this pack.
So he's going to come in. There he is in that 19 down on the bottom. Liam Sheen also going to pit. So this will kick open the door here for green flag pit stop for those that are on the older tires. So now our heads turn back to the leaders. When are they going to bite?
Here's the hint. A lot of those cars work together, or have in the past. Rosero has indicated he wants to come in from that mid-pack as well, so the window is open. And again, this is a little bit earlier and then some from some of the projections entering tonight. The fuel burn a little bit higher compared to last year with the Gen 6 car by at least a few laps now.
And 75% fuel capacity on these things. for the race tonight, so they can't quite go the full distance on fuel like the Cup cars would be able to normally in a A-Class race, or like the Cup cars would next week in the Cup 600.
That's an important thing right there. That is a massive factor, absolutely. With 15 gallons compared to a full 20 gallons or so you have in these tanks here. Here's the thing, if you're Mercurio and King, remember the fresh tire pack who were ready to cycle to the race lead after you come in? They're within 7/10, and they're coming in quick, all lined up astern.
And they know these leaders have to pit, so they've got to be ready to get out of their way just in case they decide to bite to come onto pit road. But nothing yet. Mercurio still all over the back door of Kevin King as you ride on board with the back end of Mercurio, now the front end, and King kind of come in this time.
Landon Mills also this time. The team is planning to peel in Jordan Worth this time. Many of the others on their same strategy, ready to cycle in. This likely means Ray, Guest, Reynolds, and company battling out the rest of the stage. Mercurio doesn't want to come in, though. That's an interesting overcut call. Kane is in.
Here comes King. Here comes the 5. Wyatt Tinsley. Jordan Worth is on pit road. Landon Mills hit the pit wall, but he's okay. Ethan Corder is in. Everybody else staying out on the racetrack.
Mercurio coming in this time as well. Yes, indeed. And Malik Ray, after his good qualifying run, back to the point with this stop.
Mercurio makes it to pit road safely. Here comes Spencer Burns as well. And that cycles Malik Ray eventually back to the race lead here, with Michael Guest in second, right on his heels.
Keep in mind, Dylan Bass in 4th position also might not be able to make it to the end of the stage. He has a 10-lap difference on his strategy to everyone who came in before the end of stage 1. Guest, though, we know how quick he is. He wants this lead. It's just a matter of, can he poke around Ray? Ray, we know, will defend to the bitter end no matter what, though.
Here they come off turn 2. 21 laps to go in stage number 2 here at Charlotte. Malik Ray back out in front. You've got Michael Guest and Blake Reynolds not side by side, but sitting there in second and third, trying to get themselves side by side as Kevin King is slicing and dicing his way through lap traffic right now.
Kevin King, for reference, 33rd position, 42 seconds back. Hawkin, where did he cycle? Right in front of Mercurio. Here's the crazy thing. Mercurio, with the overcut, had a 0.3 of a second in quicker time in the lane in itself. However, he was able to charge that entry a little bit quicker. That may have been prevalent to get him up the road by 2 seconds over King for this strategy lead.
There's Mercurio getting by Rabideau. Now Chris Wetz. And there's the battle for the lead once again here off turn number 2.
Just the patience game once again kicking in for Guest in this draft, waiting to see if he can force the 700 to slip up and try and see if he can cross up race signals. Keep in mind as well, a fair bit of traffic coming up here, Jacob, for them to deal with, especially with the Bobcat car coming up.
Looking out in front, Andy Margot is there. Michael P. Frisch there catching as well. Remember, Frisch had that crash on the back straightaway some 20 laps ago that we stayed green for. As they catch up to Margot here in that 37 machine, normally driven by Noah Rocky. There they go. Margot 1 lap down. He's got some damage on the front and rear of that machine. Malik Ray drives right on by.
Guest and Reynolds as well here. They are gaining ground still on Basin, Butler, Conrath, and Doucette in their respective pack. They are very dialed in here at the head of the field. Coming around 16 to go in the stage coming up here. Looking very good if you're in that fan club and from that specific grouping of drivers and their friends.
These three cars continue to try and break away. They're about a second ahead of Dylan Basin in that fourth spot and pulling away. But last time by, Blake Reynolds had the fastest lap. He is closing on this top three and may be able to put together a charge to the front in this final 15 laps of stage 2.
Wouldn't be surprised, keep in mind, Reynolds amongst those trying to push his team car to a team title. Right now, about 300 plus points back is trouble with Pullen.
Pulling in the grass. Jacob Case also with damage. He got involved in it. I don't know. Oh, he got run over by Landon Mills. Case got run over by Mills in 3 and 4. Got into Robert Dorman. And then Pullen just spun, trying to avoid, going down through the grass, hit the double jump, and spun out from there.
And the tough thing in this situation is, especially if you're, say, Jacob Case there, if you have even a little drift with the driver fresh charge right bumper to bumper with you, there's no room for error. And guess what? He made the error, and it built up there.
$13 to go. Here in stage number 2, as Andy Margot's on pit road. AJ Green going to be pitting as well. And Fetter Place. So some drivers in the back of the field starting to bite. And coming to pit road, Spencer Ray, who's in 10th, is coming in as well.
You see how difficult that can even be, because some of the drivers it looked like may not notice until the last few moments he was planning to pit there. Hence the pretty abrasive run to the apron.
Getting by some lap traffic here for the race leaders. They get by Cosmonaut Eshu and Michael P. Frisch. I wonder when the leaders may decide to come on to pit road, because those that have just recently made their stops pitted on the same lap as them. 11 to go, stage 2. Dylan Basin is biting this time. And Sean Butler, 4th and 5th. Never mind, Sean's a liar.
Well, here's the interesting thing when it comes to the drivers indicating the pit stops. There is a story here at Charlotte a few years ago in official racing. There was a driver who indicated there was a wreck in turn 3 every lap for 300 laps. That driver's not in the field tonight. But that driver really gets on your nerves if you hear that every time. Butler may be playing into those strengths here, trying to make sure everyone doesn't know when he needs to pit here.
I think I just can't listen, because I'm pretty sure all he said was 10-4 to Basin coming onto pit road, and I took that as he's speaking, he's pitting, and he did not pit. So I think that's just my fault in not being able to comprehend whatever he said, and I'll find out later for sure when I go back and listen. But nonetheless, 9 to go, how about? Here in stage 2, Malik Ray continues to lead. Here comes Mercurio trying to unlap himself.
Oh, and this could be a big opportunity for Guest to maybe pounce here. Have to be smart. Mercurio given the space, a good play from Guest and Ray. But will this help Guest with the bubble?
Whew. Here comes Michael Guest, just shy at the line, but he's going to take the lead going into 1.
Will it stick, though? Ray really backing it down to get clear. Reynolds is coming.
Driving just fine. Trouble for Ryan Doucette. He sped on his pit stop. He is now 2 laps down in 41st. A 54-second pit stop for Ryan Doucette.
And this is a difficult car to slow down. It's been getting better for competitors as they've gotten more and more experience under the brakes, Jacob, but here's the thing. At this track, you don't time it up well, you're slamming into the wall as well. Here with the Roval portion.
Wonder how many drivers planned on having green flag pit stops tonight. Probably not many.
You have to plan for a green flag stop, though. It's Charlotte. It's 600 kilometers. You never know when the long runs come in, such as this one.
It's also FTF. If you've watched some of these last couple of races, I'd bet on a caution. Who is that? Is that
Jacob Case?
Yep, okay, he's on pit road. Here come the leaders, though. 5 to go, stage 2.
Some of this traffic not playing too nicely. I believe that may have been green amongst those. Trying to let them go. Trouble!
Trouble. Oh, big crash. That's Cosman, Seth Noel, Chris Wetz. There is no caution. They have not thrown it. Caution's out now as Nate Stewart has gone around.
Oh, and there is still stacking.
Oh my gosh. They are still crashing. I mean,
what?
I heard Kevin scream over the.
Well, a lot just happened there.
Don't do that again. Thank you.
What did Zach do?
That was Justin Malone. And it was inside 5 to go. I think that's why in the stage. But it was Chris Wetz who is the trigger in all of this, by the way.
No.
Who hit the wall in the quad.
No, you know what happened? Cosman was pitting. Cozy didn't know it and ran into him and spun. Chris Wetz, I think just a late reaction, got up and into the wall coming off of turn 4, and he got out of shape. Then hit the outside wall. Kevin McAdams ran into the back of him. They spun down to the bottom. And then Wetz came back up across the track, got punted by Ethan Corder. Cosman piled in, Noel piled in, Rabideau piled in. I don't think that caution was supposed to come out. Nate Stewart came in right at the very end and got a piece of it. I mean...
Okay, clarifications in they were supposed to race to the caution. That's why the trigger is there and why you heard the tempers flare up a little bit. But a lot of tempers and a lot of bumpers torn apart there with a track blocker. Ryan Naronki might be trying to steal some stage points, just stayed out here.
That's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Wow. And Jake Poole and a... Yeah, I think you heard the same thing as me, Jacob. No fuel in the pit stop. Well, that's going to be discussed tomorrow in a certain office.
Yeah, he's already 1 lap down. He pitted, but they didn't give him any fuel for some reason, and he is now out, and the 37 is giving him a push here down the back straightaway to try and get him to pit road.
Wow. This has become one of the wackiest cautions of the year, possibly. Hashtag something something Zach. No offense.
These things happen. All right, so we're going to get a restart with, I think, 1 to go in the stage.
Oh, here's the replay.
Right now.
He did confirm.
The caution.
He did confirm that was because he was trying to avoid the car pitting. Then it looks all right. Until everybody forgot there was a car and didn't see a car.
He was off the racing line. I know he was trying to roll it, to get on the brakes at that point. That they're trying to avoid Cosman, and Cosman then stays out. And then Kevin gets into the back of him, and right here he should be fully on the brakes, but he wasn't. And then he just gets drop kicked, and Nate Stewart thought he had it missed and just couldn't quite. And again, Stewart should have been on the brakes too.
Yep.
Even though the caution didn't come out until he was already stopped.
I think Malik Ray's now the leader, by the way. Naraki, I think, pitted.
Yeah, he did.
Wow. It's about a maybe two-stopper from here, by the way, for those keeping track at home. Oh, boy.
Yeah. We are now under 15 laps of caution. What?
And I think they're...
issue. I think the stage is... I don't know what's going on, folks.
Well, I think there's a lot to try and compact here. Let's put it this way.
Yeah,
because...
so Kevin King is trapped a lap down. No. What?
I think he
Kevin
got the
King
wave.
was on the lead lap.
Oh, boy.
Where the hell are the leaders? Yeah.
He was amongst the way. He was at in front of the race leader. He would have got the wave regardless here. And the drivers are currently in the FTF way discussing the origins of the Lucky Dog. As a result, Jacob, I think these drivers, some of them have gotten a bit lucky here, some of them not so much.
FTF's longest night continues. We go to a break. When we come back, hopefully we're back to racing. Alright, so stage 2 is done. We just chose... Okay. There are a couple of black flags, but they're meatballs, and it's because Chris Watts, Ethan Corder, and Cosmonaut Issue are all out of the race. Why they have
Yes.
meatball flags, or at least all on pit road. We
This
are
is
coming to the restart. I have not been given an official who won stage 2 type deal. I assume it's Malik Ray since he was the leader when the caution came out and he's the leader now. Nonetheless, lap 150 is the end of lap number 3. Pace car will be in and it'll be Ray and Michael Guest that bring us down. And after that long caution, we are back to green here from Charlotte.
Malik Ray is getting really good at launching like that, right at the very tip of the first gear to get that launch and pull over the rest of the pack there.
They are almost 4 wide going into turn number 1 back there. With AJ Green, he is off the pace with damage. Oh my, Garrett Conrath, what a save! All the way down to the inside wall. He's going to lose more than a dozen spots. But Garrett Conrath got dead sideways and almost spun out and collected the back half of the field.
Yeah, that could have got very dangerous very quickly for Conrath. That dropped him to the 19th position, though, in the midst of the Hornet's Nest. Keep in mind, with all the craziness, the fresh tires, about 20th on forward on the pylon. Everybody else amongst the wave around gang around this track tonight.
Everybody, for the most part, pitted under that most recent caution and is on the same strategy, at least for the time being. See if that changes throughout this third stage, if we see a caution. Going into the final, just shy of 100 lap stage that we've got coming up.
Give credit to Kevin King. Remember, he was that wave around driver with the Lucky Dunk prior to the green flag. Get us backing away for the start of the stage. He is on the prowl and on the move.
Here he goes to the inside of Matt Spalding. Takes away that 9th position. Brian Mercurio going to follow him through. And Kevin King has had the fastest car on the day. It seems like, even though Malik Ray and Michael Guest have had the fastest laps, actually, that belongs to Sean Butler.
Oh, trouble back straight away.
Trouble.
And it's Margot.
Margot and AJ Green. And he just came up in front of AJ Green, coming down the back straightaway off the corner. And round they go. Oh, AJ Green, he is stuck in that inside wall, by the way. You'll see why on the replay.
Quite simple. You mentioned coming up from Margot. This is what we call a brain fade, where I think he may have thought he was clear, possibly, or about to clear. And once he gets towards the back straightaway, he just arcs it up and up and up, and there's a car there. Just looked like he didn't realize he wasn't clear fully yet.
Yeah, and he found out the hard way, and there you see Green getting wedged into the inside safer barrier. Another angle. Just no idea.
Big dodge, though, for that yellow Toyota to get through that craziness. And this was the... It's good news, though, for those who took the wave around, Jacob. They get to take the tires and fuel now.
Yeah, but the back half of the field is on pit road. Dylan Basin, Brett Puncari, Landon Mills, Jordan North, Spencer Ray, Art Reimer, Jacob Case, Liam Sheen, Nick Miller, Spencer Burns, and on and on and on. The top 18 drivers stay out under this caution.
Seth Noel having some problems, it looks like. You've seen on the apron. Already no front clip, just in a full stop in all of this, too. Lots of demolished race cars getting the chance to get some repairs that they haven't been able to take a breath, though, amongst this. On the bright side, Sean Butler is happy to be around friends.
That's good. Probably because the Mets are still losing.
I don't think he knows yet still.
I think he knows. Pretty sure he does watch the broadcast, so... while he's racing. He apparently also tweets while he's racing because he was commenting on a post from, I believe, Landon Huffman during that last caution.
Well then, first of all, we do not condone texting and driving, for obvious reasons, especially under green flag conditions in sim racing. But we see the
under caution, to be fair. He wouldn't do it under green.
But it's still 53 miles per hour, which, if you did that on the street, you know the rest. Look who's back in 6th, though. Michael Cozy Jr. from 30th. Amongst a lot of the craziness, Winval has had a lot of Ha-Yi moments tonight.
Yeah, the contact that he had with his teammate earlier on and Danson set him around, and here he is now back up inside the top 10 with his teammate right in front of him. It was Danson that got the short end of the stick.
Remember, Cozy Jr., before the later stages of the Rockingham 508, he was also a contender and had to work through the pack in that race. Where did he start that day? 23rd or so. He's doing a similar stance here right now, with less laps to work with on the board.
Yeah.
Some of these drivers continue to settle themselves out. I'm really curious about, say, on top of things, as things continue to sort themselves together, how someone, say, Matt Spalding does, because under the radar, he's in 11th in the 88. Remember, during the opening cautions of the race, he was involved in that trouble in that spin off turn 4 before. What a quiet run to the pack for the 88 again.
Choosing this time comes without issue, has officially parked the car, done for the night. Time to choose.
It just looks like just about everybody wants the top line. Cozy Jr. is the first driver who says, you know what? It's free real estate to start at the bottom, possibly.
See how that works out for him.
Check that gas to choose the bottom as well. We've seen there towards the later stages there. Penalty for the 114. And Brandon's debut for a long race such as this is not going well. 2 laps down, another penalty for hitting the choose cone.
Yeah. So he'll restart at the tail end. Malik Gray on the outside, Michael Guest on the inside here for this restart. 136 laps to go when we get the restart. Closing in on halfway and the end of stage 3. They're 2 separate laps, by the way. Here we go. Pace car is in. And Malik Gray will stack them, rack them, and let her rip. Green flag back in the air here in Charlotte.
Well, Ray did the exact same thing as his initial start to the race, up against the wall. Everybody else boxed in like Legos.
The inside line at least got a little bit of a better start. No stacking up quite as bad. Those 2 Logitech Gialtis cars trying to make that inside line work. They are dropping back in a hurry. Danson gets up in line in front of Matthew Zwack. Cozy might fit in line behind him. Nope, because here comes Kevin King roaring up the outside. Guest trying to get his feet back under him here and close in on the race leader.
Remember, Guest is better on the long run, Ray better mid-run, as we've indicated and seen throughout the night so far. You look behind him, though, Kevin King is looking to put on some stylish moves again. This time, the cross on Zwack.
And here comes King. Into 6th, looking on 5th. To get by Danson. Here comes Mercurial looking to the inside of Zwack. Zwack shuts the door. Behind them, Spalding peeking to the inside of Jonathan Oates.
There been a lot of give and take possibly coming from Zwack, knowing he's getting swamped by drivers with pro experience behind him. Let Mercurial go. Here's a look as Danson lets on by King. King is a rocket ship. Can anyone stop that 29 tonight?
Maybe the guys up front. This top 4 scooting away. We'll see if it's going to take strategy, I think, for King to really have a shot, as there's Jonathan Oates all the way up by the wall, giving some spots away. How about that traction car? Ryan O'Rocky in the 53 this week instead of Justin Malillo. Malillo up on the tower. The David Hoots, if you will. 3 wide further back. Gary Waterworth hung in the middle, and he is still stuck 3 wide.
A lot of give and go. Some drivers not likey that. Oates still trying to rip the very top line around the track. Let that rip. Almost 2019 fixed full distance Charlotte racing style.
Garrett Conrath trying to shortcut the dog.
Oh, Rosero!
Turn 1. Dorman saves it.
Oh, and that's on Rosero. He dived at last moment to the bottom. Rosero able to break away. A lot of craziness behind him.
Good save from Robert Dorman.
And Dorman very lucky to not lose any more spots or get absolutely demolished in all the craziness there. Still a clean race car. But second to last car on the lead lap from the hit.
Everything is kind of calmed down, at least for the moment. Some folks got spread around, and look out, where's the 12 going to Waterworth? Up the hill big time. He'll lose a couple of spots off corner number 4. In the battle between Zwack and Cozy, it's over. Cozy takes the spot.
Cozy Jr. having an solid night, as we talked about in the progression. Remember Matt Spalding talked about his praises earlier, recovering from his troubles earlier? His Dodge Charger, well, despite the damage, looking to charge ahead, but the problem is that damage making him fairly light on the right side because that fender really kicked up, and that is destabilizing some of the aero on the car. 3 wide behind him.
Oh gosh, yep, 3 wide back here. That's Basin, Kevin McAdams, and Conrath on the top. And Basin's clear. Chops off the nose of McAdams, and here comes Jordan Worth. They'll go side by side now, no longer 3 wide.
Worth has been really solid short run. And a few drivers in this starting to show a little bit of nervousness, even with their movements. Mills wants to get out of this on the bottom. McAdams is boxed in up top still. Hearing tempers maybe flirting on the radio with Zwack, and Cozy Jr. had watched as Danson and him danced around in front of this whole entire gaggle of cars.
AJ Green parked the car, done for the night. Out of this race, he will finish in the 40th position, it looks like, since Chris Wetz is still on pit road, 26 laps down. Ethan Corder, Cosmonaut issue. AJ Green all out of the race. 39 cars on the racetrack, 32 of them on the lead lap.
Still an amazing count for those on the lead lap. Already 30 to go coming up in this stage. This time about coming up and quickly. See how tight it's getting bumper to bumper amongst some of these cars too. Spalding, short run pace is there. The damage is hurting long run. And that's where it really becomes trouble with Jacob with the next gen car. You get damage, it really hurts your speed and consistency on the long run with your tire wear.
Yeah. Mills kind of peeking to the inside there. Trying to get by Jordan Worth here in the 98. Can't quite get there, though. Worth's just a little bit stronger.
Plenty of traffic possibly coming up, was about to say.
Sounds like Nate Stewart is parking it. Or going to park it.
He's 38th.
Yep, here it comes.
So he's peeling in, but one driver who's not peeling in and getting nearly ran over, the one car behind all this. Seth Noel, he's already been passed by some of the leaders. He nearly got hit by Burns on the entry.
And he's already multiple laps down, 11 down to be specific. Front clip of that car still missing. But He's still trying to do everything he can to just click off laps up there around the outside of the racetrack, way off the pace.
Looking like Kevin Kane's progression, meanwhile, with the rocket ship, it's hit a brick wall. It's called tire wear. He's a 1/10 of a second slower than those who hadn't had to pass by 10 cars to get there.
We are now officially past the halfway point here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in this race. We only have about an hour to go per ATVO. See how well that works out. Malik Ray is your leader, but Michael Guest is within half a car length and is on the back door of that 7. Just kind of riding right in line with him. Hasn't made the move for the lead quite yet.
I think that is a big brain move there. And I mean the good kind, where, you know, there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of laps to work. Why not just wait? We've seen how good the overcut can be if you can get a good straight shot into the pit entry without speeding. And some of these drivers, especially Guest, more so I think Reynolds too is in a position to do so, can really gain on the entry when these drivers have to peel in next. Here's the question next though. How will this break down? Because remember the fuel marks on what we've seen tonight? We're talking about pit stops coming to about 2 to go on the stage, possibly.
See what they decide to do. Maybe they decide to short pit, depending on if that'll help them with strategy getting to the end of this deal.
And these 3 cars have been the king of the field. Butler is really starting to drop off, though. 2/10 lost last time by Butler on the average, losing 6/100ths.
Where's the fire, Justin? Hopefully it's not you.
It is not. And no drivers are in the situation, looks like, yet to where the sirens are going off. For now. Keyword, for now. Because in this type of a race, Jacob, you talk about the snowball effect, where a small mistake makes another small mistake, leads to a slightly bigger mistake, and a bigger and bigger and bigger one. By the end of that whole chain, that's where the sirens go off. And when the siren goes off, that's where disaster usually strikes for you in your race. That will be critical with some of the drivers knowing we're at, again, one of our longest runs of the night. Back to back, in fact. This can be draining mentally and physically to wheel it around this long on our longest night.
Closing in on just 20 to go in this 3rd stage. See a battle Wyatt Tinsley in the 53. Ryan Rocky side by side. That's back for the 15th position. Here comes Nick Miller to the inside. Dylan Basin is gonna bite. He's gonna pit this time after making the pass for the top 10.
He might be thinking stage points, yeah. You better hold on to that Goodyear tire if he does come in.
Okay, no, he's just talking about tires.
If he needs more tires, he's got a Goodyear tire to his right.
Yeah.
I don't think he can put it on the virtual car yet.
That'd be impressive.
He's pointing at the tire, though. He really wants you to know he's got a tire.
Ugh.
I kind of want to see if that tire creeps its way closer and closer to the point where when Dylan needs to pit for tires, it's right in his lap for the stop.
Every pit stop, it moves in his room. He gets up, moves it, gets back into the seat in 14 seconds.
Exactly.
There you go.
Oh, in trouble.
Oh, no, Rocky! Saves it.
What a save from Naraki. That will make Justin Malua proud to not wreck that 53. That was a side draft gone wrong from Miller.
Yeah. Big time. And a big time save. from the traction driver. Lost traction there, but didn't help that he got turned in that.
Picking up the tires. I'm still really intrigued on how this works out for Basin because if I'm looking at the numbers right, it was a 5.6, which is fuel only, which leads to the question, how is he still here? If that's right.
Well, that might be... He may have topped off.
Yes.
Like I'm saying, he pitted the lap before, got tires, pitted the next time around, topped off with fuel. Well, but 5 seconds, that's a pretty long time in the...
He's still in a good spot to it. Still a good position to attack as you see the leaders bunched together. A few drivers starting to scare each other, I will say, because I think Sean Butler may have spooked Matthew's whack. He's confirmed the exact position, by the way, with that Goodyear tire. Long story short, he wants an Era Goodyear tire.
I would think he would want just more than one.
Yeah. You get 4 and surround yourself in them with the tires. What a drive back, though, to the pack for Conrad. He was 19th after his slide, remember, down the backstretch.
Especially after lighting those tires up in that power slide. Nice little comeback for Conrad.
And the interesting thing is still, Conrad, remember, was in that great spot last year. One of the quicker cars still in the circuit, 31.3s on the average. I think just waiting for his spots here, approaching the end of the stage, especially since pit stop time may be on the brink, if not just about right after the stage.
$12 to go here, this time by in stage number 3. Malik Ray continues to lead, but he's got company now. This top 4 has accordion together.
It's about to beat the whole top 5. Mercurio's coming in quick as well at the same pace as Kevin King. This is similar to what we've seen at the end of the last run. Ray starts to slip back a bit. The second race slides. Guest likely goes for this race lead yet again. The interesting extra layer in all this too, Jacob, Kevin King, if he goes, say, high side here, tries to force the pressure to go a little bit higher from some of these cars compared to the conserve, that may really make things intriguing and become a hot potato for the top spot.
$10 to go in stage number 3. Still a long time left here in this FTF.GG World 600K. There you see Blake Reynolds in 3rd, Kevin King 4th, Brian Mercurio just floating around back there in P5. Then you got to go back almost 2 seconds to Sean Butler, who's in 6th.
There is Butler still with Swack, Cozy Jr., Conrad, Basin, Worth, Mills, Tinsley, their whole entire pack covered by about 2.5 seconds. Everyone about dead even on pace, and this is the tough thing we've seen with this car, this package. Once you get towards this evening out point, towards the top end of the tire wear, about that 1 to 2 second mark, it gets tricky to close in unless you really have a lot of battles or some mistakes pop up or massive difference on your burn-up effect, because then it's hard to sort it out. Here's the pit stop for the 114. Meanwhile, it's not been a good night for Brandon.
Yeah, better place. I think he wishes he was in a better place right about now. He is toward the back of the field, sitting P37, 3 laps down. That's just going to go up as he's on pit road.
You may have noticed a swap for 6th. Apparently, Sean Butler having some adventures down the front straightaway. His fellow streaming buddies in his pack, I think, are getting entertained with Butler's driving control, despite being nearly spinning.
Just like he said in pre-race, this car sucks. Michael Cozy Jr. seems to agree.
I don't think Malik Ray agrees, since he's led 72 laps.
Well, to each their own, but I think Sean may have the little more popular opinion that this car sucked.
Kevin King wanting to push the pressure now on Reynolds, though.
Oh,
and right into the wall!
Hard hit into the wall. Damage on the front of the King's car. We are still green. We are almost in the buffer zone. 6 to go in stage number 3, and he is slow up against the outside wall. He's got room now. He's got to get to the bottom and hurry.
What happened to Blake Reynolds there?
I think he just got loose.
It just looked like
He just turned right.
maybe he's seen the block to have to deal with, and it just completely changed the complexion of the lead pack. Mercurio loses his tons of time.
I think he got the apron just a touch and got him loose and just overcorrected it big time. Here's the replay. He's going to get the apron right there. Just enough, and you see him get a little loose, and just overcorrects it too much right up into the mouth of Kevin King.
That's that limit with these tires for the next gen car with the wider tread. It's not easy to save compared to the Gen 6. And Reynolds just showcased it right there. You go even a tiny bit too much on the correction to the right, you're going in the wall. And that was absolute disaster for Kevin King in that case. Battle for the lead is on. 100 to go.
I wondered if he blew a tire, but no, he just overcorrected that thing. So, such a shame for him because he had one of the faster cars. And Kevin King, that killed his race. That damage on the front of that car, that's going to kill any shot that he had to win this deal. So, such a heartbreak for him. He's still 4th, though. Mercurio back in 3rd, about a second back and losing time from this top 2. 3 to go here in stage number 3. It's between the 700 and the 74. Try and win the stage. Blake Reynolds is on pit road.
Well, that's not a surprise to see the 66 down there. These final few moments, lots of stage points on the line. Jordan Warp, the last stage point currently. Conrath wants to steal it.
2 to go in stage number 3.
Oh, and there's the bubble.
Malik got a little loose coming off 2, I think 2 laps ago. Was able to catch it there, but it's really starting to get bad for these guys. 51 lap old tires. They're really feeling it here.
That's the bobble Guest has been waiting for. Can he take advantage, though, coming around? Final time for the stage.
Guest can't be too aggressive because remember, he's on the same age tires. So if he makes an aggressive move, then he burns his race car up and potentially puts it in the wall. Just on the outside here, he's just backing off. Yeah, he's shot. Yeah, he's just letting Malik have this stage win. Just trying to save his stuff for the end of this deal, I think, is the game plan. But nonetheless, Malik Ray off to corner number 4. He will win stage number 3 here at Charlotte. With 96 laps to go, Malik Ray wins the stage. Back-to-back stage wins for Malik Ray. And Sean Butler is biting the bullet. He's coming to pit road first, and he is not the only one. Zwack is coming in. Matt Danson, I think, is going to come in, and this is it.
Oh, and something's wrong with Guest. Guest, I think, is running out of gas. He just went full clutch. Ray is in.
There goes Malik Ray. Guest is fine. I think he's just saving so he can make another lap. But a lot of these other guys are going to be coming in.
This could get really interesting now with Michael Guest. He's got all the time in the world to be able to enter this pit lane the way he wants to. More pit calls coming from the pack behind. About a 2-second plus buffer to the next pack. Here's that entry, nice and hard.
Kevin King joins him as well. Cozy, look out. Conrath in. Here comes Waterworth. Jake Poulin going to come in this time as well. Ryan Rocky. So your race leader currently Dylan Basin, who pitted off cycle with these guys a little bit. He's on 45 lap old tires. Andy Margot coming in.
And again, this is a one-stopper from here on out, Jacob, no matter how you slice it. At the fuel window, single car spin.
I think it's in turn one.
No, it's back straight away. It's Spalding on the apron. No caution. We stay green. And somebody's trying to visit him.
Man.
What is Miller doing?
Well, he was trying to get around that lap car. But yeah, Spalding just lost it coming off pit road. Did the Michael Waltrip, got the apron and overcorrected it hard into the wall. He's lucky that there was nobody around him. Otherwise, that would have been a caution.
Wake Reyes cycled to the head of those who have already pit by more than a second. Mercurio jumped guest in the cycle, though. That could be big for Mercurio again, picking up spots on entry in the pit lane.
And Malik Ray is a flying right now. It's like he's got a rocket booster attached to that thing as Spencer Burns almost cleans himself out off the nose of Brandon Hawkin.
And Mills coming in this time as well. 1.5 seconds behind the race leader. You see Mercurio trying to slice it about. Ray, plenty of clean air amongst all this. Those wanting to pit, though, are right ahead of them.
Here comes Mills. He's in just fine. Jordan Worth going to be coming in this time. Blake Reynolds. Park the car. Done for the night.
Oh, this could get tricky. Brandon Hawkin wants to pit. How is he going to handle this? Remember, he had to pit under green after his strategy calls earlier. Looks like everybody aware of the stop this time.
So is the car right behind him. That's Burns. Both make it just fine. Clint Roberts going to come in this time.
Then there was one. Dylan Basin.
Basin, he's coming in this time, which will put Brett Punkari out in front. He's 9 seconds back on Basin. Here comes the 04. Onto pit road. Punkari stays out.
And Punkari, remember, has been someone who's willing to try things different strategy-wise. Has picked up some performance in the past. Basin is getting that Goodyear tire. Will he move it? Oh, he's trying it.
He waved back to it like, come closer, my son, come closer. And now, oh, well, he tried to move it.
Not close enough yet.
You can't read the Goodyear on it anymore, but you can see the that's good enough. Trouble, caution, back straight away before Punkari can come to pit road.
Oh, and there's more on the front stretch. Cozy's in the grass.
Spencer Burns spun it around again, trying to come off pit road, and Cozy has spun. Burns with another hard shot to the outside wall, and the spin for Cozy was, oh, they were spinning in front of him.
Two different crashes, Jacob. You have the incident of the backstretch.
And Dorman. Fetter Place and Dorman made contact off floor. Fetter Place got the wall, came down into Dorman. Cozy hit the wall as well, and all three of them spun it through the grass.
This is what happened to Wow. He hit the apron and
that happened. Oh my God. We need an onboard refresh right now. How the hell did he miss that? It's the same thing that happened to Spalding during the green flag pit stops. The only difference was there was traffic coming this time around. Here's the onboard. How in the world? Oh, I mean, how?
1987 cars. And then, this is all while at the end of the racetrack, you have Feather Place, who is not having a pretty night. He's trying the outside line here, right? He sees the opportunity, but he's already too high. You can see it right there. This is where he pushes up into the wall, right into the dormant. Cozy Jr. arrow washes and falls right behind the wall as well. 3-car incident down the front stretch. Cozy Jr. again with the spin.
Yeesh.
And this field just got flipped upside down.
Brett Punkari, the only one to pit, actually joined by Kevin King and Garrett Conrath. Punkari is going to come out in the 8th spot with the caution.
What a boondoggle. 17 cars on the lead lap with the timing of all the craziness there too. And Matt Dance is trying to figure out if he can be able to pit here amongst all the craziness, apparently. On the radio, he's in 7th in this.
Hold on, because the caution just got extended by 6 laps, or by 3 laps.
I think drivers are
having another scoring issue here in trying to get laps back.
Well, that's because
the leader was on pit road when that caution came out. That's why Punkari is in that 6th spot. I thought he stayed out because the caution came out, because he was slowing down to pit, and then the caution came out, so he should have entered a closed pit, and he should be at the back for the restart then, I would think.
Well, here's the thing, Jacob. If he's already in the pit lane, he can...
was, though. Well, I need to go back and take a look at this, so I'm not just talking out my rear, but
well,
I didn't think he made it to pit road before the caution came out. Let me rewind here and look and see if he made it. No, so he pitted after...
Yeah, he did pit.
Oh, I see.
He did pit under the caution. He did pit under the caution.
He did not pit when the caution flag came out, though. He slowed down, and people got by him because he was going to pit. Then the caution came out, so he sped back up. He did pit then under the caution when he was behind the pace car, so his spot is correct in P8.
Very big. Jordan Worth, lucky dog hearing a lot of wave around cars. Kevin McAdams, Brandon Hawkin, Michael Cozy Jr. About a third of the field, more than 2/3 actually, all have to take the weight, but the time to this caution a second time in the sequence like this.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm here. I think so. Oh, the tires managed to stand.
He got it. Probably because of the caution. He was able to get it to stand up. Perfect.
Double thumbs up. That tire's his best friend right now.
Yep.
I still want to see if he has more than one Goodyear Eagle tire hidden. And all of a sudden he's surrounded with 4 of them if he wins it. Yeah, apparently he does, by the way. And we've started a rabbit hole and a half here.
Yeah.
Apparently he's found the second one. That's what we're hearing.
Wow.
First of all, we recommend drivers do not text and drive, especially under the pace laps even. And, okay, there's the one. Where's the second? Oh, now it's on his left side.
There you go.
And now he's carrying it. That bobble you seen, by the way, in the backdrop was him putting the tire down. We recommend you do not drive with a Goodyear Eagle in your hands. It can cause you to spin out if you drive one-handed.
Just ask Landon Huffman, right?
Duh.
From the heats. All right. Coming to choose here this time. We're going to get a restart with 82 laps to go. They get to choose this time, and Malik goes to the outside. Brian Mercurio will be second here. He will be on the inside line with Zwack, Butler, and Wyatt Inslee. Your top 5. Once we get back into the restart, 28 cars on the lead lap. Ryan Doucette, the first one lap down, with Dorman, Frisch, Poulin, Burns, and Spalding. Andy Margot 4 down, Fetter Place 5 down, Seth Noel 13 laps down, and out of the race, Blake Reynolds, Nate Stewart, AJ Green, Cosmonaut Eshu, Ethan Corder, and Chris Wett.
Still one stopper no matter how you slice it, but boy oh boy, has tonight's race had things happen.
Yep.
It's a question of who can execute to make good things happen for the checkered. Yes, Jacob.
Let's see how little cautions we'll get the rest of the way. Pace car is in. Malik didn't wait at all, and around goes Sean. We're still green. He's on the apron. Sean Butler spins. Malik Ray was on the gas in a hurry. We stay green. The field is spread on out.
Wow.
How many ways can Sean Butler find a way to lose a race this year? Unbelievable.
How many days in the year are there again?
Probably too many to Sean Butler. I mean, he has horrific luck. He's missing his hood.
Unbelievable start, first of all, for Ray and company. But here's the thing. It was not just Butler with the tire spin there. I think at least 3 or 4 cars trying to jump the start there. I'm surprised.
One of them got busted. Jacob Case, black flag.
Dylan Basin nearly ran over 1 or 2 cars in that. 1 in the world.
Oh, Conrath hard to the wall. Big crash. Landon Mills, Jordan Worth involved. Brett Pumkari. A hellacious crash for Garrett Conrath. It did the snap oversteer, and he hit the outside wall very, very hard. Oh, my gosh. That was huge.
I think Conrad hit the apron Reynolds style, but here's the problem. Reynolds had a lot more cars behind, or rather, Conrad had a lot more cars behind him. Not just King, but 2, 3, 4, 5 cars having to dodge and getting involved.
So that's going to take 4 cars out of this race, because that's a lot of damage to 4 really fast cars. And puts us under the caution flag for the 867th time here tonight. It is 3:22 in sim, by the way, for those of you wondering. The sun will be seen in about, half an hour. We're supposed to race until 40 minutes from now, so I think we'll see him.
I'm really curious what happened at that start in the first place that started this boondoggle of a restart sequence.
If we can get a replay of it, I think Sean just got on the gas and lost it. Yeah, he says the tires just spun and he went around. There's the post spin. And
Here we go.
He has a hood here. Oh, and he hit Mills, and that's what caused his hood to... What? Physics? A lot of damage to Sean, but yeah, he just lost it. Did a good job of preventing it from going up and hitting that outside line. Otherwise, we would have had a caution. Good job getting it down to the bottom. Just shame Landon Mills nowhere to go, and Sean's now in the box, getting worked on.
Hunkari absolutely demolished 2 after being in a great spot before. Not now. I will say this. We are hearing that Dylan Basin is suggesting and or saying he may be willing to give the tires that he has to Butler. I don't know if that's going to help now.
Yeah.
But apparently the tires are the rear tires from Jimmy Johnson's run from the 2017 Coca-Cola 600. Almost his birthday.
That's before Jimmy Johnson's career-ending crash at Pocono a couple weeks later.
Funnily enough, Jimmy Johnson qualified his way up in the front positions for the Indianapolis 500-mile race today.
Yeah, he's got a good shot at getting the pole tomorrow. Just have to wait and see. With coming to 77 laps to go here at Charlotte, if your business or organization is interested in partnering with FTF.GG, we have a space available for you. FTF.GG has a plan for every budget and can custom tailor solutions to suit your business's needs best. For more information on the wide variety of partnership possibilities, send an email to ftfracingleague@gmail.com. Again, ftfracingleague@gmail.com. Zach Johnson doesn't go broke.
Okay. Plenty to think about, too, and remember, the tempers have absolutely flared at parts of the night. I want to say this, too. Liam Sheen has been absolutely demolished several different times tonight. He's in 12th, and he's running a charity paint scheme tonight for CF Awareness Month. And many different sim racers have been trying to raise funds for various foundations throughout the month for Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, whether it's for walks, whether it's for the charity in general. It's in regards to Logan Helton, who ran the paint scheme last time out of Chicagoland, who has CF, and has been told that he is seen as somewhat of a role model, Logan Helton is, for kids his age who have CF and don't have the chances that Logan Helton does, for example. A lot of support being done for charities across the sim, especially for CF Awareness Month this month.
No doubt about it. Glad to have them on board that 63 for this weekend and last weekend as well. That 63, Liam Sheen sits in P12. Front clip is gone on that thing, and he's going to bring it to pit road here this time. No Logan Helton in the seat this week. And, of course, for FTF, we're off next week for the, well, not off, but the All-Star races next week. And then in 2 weeks, that's not what I wanted to click on. Here it is, FTF schedule, because I have no idea where we're at in 2 weeks. We are at Gateway. That race will be on bottom split, but the FTF All-Star race next week here on FTF.GG from the LA Coliseum. And then in 2 weeks, we're at Gateway on bottom split. Speaking of bottom split, Jordan Worth, he's parked the car, done for the night. Other things coming up in the next week or so, the 4-split mega cast of the eNASCAR qualifying iRacing series on Thursday night from 9 o'clock Eastern. Do we officially have, like, hosts? Can I at least announce them, Zach? Cool. All right, so Evan Pasoko, James Pike, they'll be hosting us throughout. We'll have individuals focusing on different splits. I'll be over in split number 2, I think. 2, 3, somewhere in there. I think I'm in 2. Covering splits 2 through 5 as we try and figure out who's in, who's out of the top 70 of points to make the next round. It'll be a lot of fun. Again, that's on Thursday night, 7 o'clock. Thursday, 9 o'clock Eastern, we go live. Malik Ray and Brian Mercurio on the restart green flag.
There, a good launch for Malik Ray on that outside line. Lots of drivers getting bottled up there again. Look at Basin. He wants third. His race high.
Horrible restart for Michael Guest. He loses a couple of spots. Here comes Basin. He slides into third. He gets by Wyatt Tinsley. That thing a little loose on exit, but he holds on. And now he's going to try and charge after Brian Mercurio, who sits in second, while Malik Ray can just scoot away.
It's Ray's race to lose right now with the different strategies popping up throughout the pack. He needs to just hold on to the point. Don't let the pressure build. Lots of drivers behind him. They're having a wrestling match for every position but the lead.
Danson getting passed by Michael Guest. Nick Miller right behind him as well. How about Kevin King? That front end of that car after the damage, I thought there would be no way we back up into this thing. He's now P10. Doesn't quite have the speed, but the nose looks pretty good.
I'm shocked he didn't get too much of the damage fixed during the caution. It would have cost him tons of track position, yes, but he's not Brendan Hook into the inside now.
That was close.
Waterworth right there to try and pounce. I'm still intrigued about this look, more like the San Francisco Giants paint scheme of a concept tonight. Trouble from Mike Ray and Mercurio up at the point.
Whoa, man. Where did that come from? He just... Mercurio just caught him. there was no problem with Ray. Mercurio just caught him.
Yeah, but it's not done yet. Basin outside. Tinsley nearly got his nose chopped off.
Well, he did get his nose chopped off. He was just happy to lift there. 71 to go. And, man, Basin's trying to make that third line work to make it 3 wide for the lead. I don't think it's going to work. Now he's going to look to the bottom. Here we go. 3 wide for the lead.
Those Goodyear Eagles are flying. Oh, my goodness. He nearly got turned.
Flying like an eagle. That was close for Mercurio, but here comes Basin from third to first in half a lap. Not quite able to lead that lap. Mercurio giving the help to Ray. Here comes Tinsley, though. He's joined the party. He's at the bottom.
5 cars under a blanket. Basin with the better rotation. Oh. Ray getting cut off. He's not going to like that.
And Ray almost got put in the wall there. He wasn't going to lift. That was very close. But Basin's going to try it again here, down to the bottom, and he's clear that time. Dylan Basin, how do you do? To the front with 69 laps to go.
I will say this, there was one thing mentioned to give a cap onto the tires for now. He said he was ready to put on a show after the restart. He just did that to be able to lead his first laps outside of strategy games amongst this pack. How long can you hold it on to it? Because Mercurio's there, Guest is ready to pounce, Tinsley, Miller, and Danson closing up. What a run for Rosero to get up to race high 7th in this mess.
Here comes Mercurio for second on Malik Ray. To the inside, he's got it. Here comes Guest. To the inside for third. Malik Ray is under the gun and in a lot of trouble.
Malik Ray, this is the most pressure he's had to deal with all night long. And this seems to be a trouble spot. He's lost the bottom in all this. He's struggling running that middle line.
Keep in mind, he's on the oldest tires as well as Mercurio right now on the entire racetrack. 2 oldest tire sets belong to the 700 and the 41. I think that's why we're seeing Malik Ray slip through this field.
Even then, the difference is about maybe 4 laps to most of the cars pouncing. You know who's got the freshest out of the pack, though? Matthew Zwack, 8th position. He's coming, too.
Comes Zwack, dancing right behind as well as Kevin King. Zwack to the inside of Rosero, still side by side for P7. First side-by-side battle on the racetrack.
Rosero not surprised to see him not want to give this up. One of his best runs in the series, running that middle seam. He almost looks more comfortable on that line. Zwack's starting to get a bit frustrated on the radio here.
I don't think he wants to run him over. I think that's the bigger problem there. I think he apologized for maybe pinching Rosero up by the wall. Didn't want to do it like that, but he gets the spot done. Gets the pass done coming off corner number 2. How about the battle for the lucky dog between Frisch and Robert Dorman? It's heating up, and well, not really, because Frisch is long gone and Dorman has lost a lot of time.
Arching the green light to make it to the end on fuel here. Keep in mind, that can make things really intriguing. By the way, the lucky dog battle, that's why we're looking this way. Dorman, he wants to see things fall back his way. Frisch is in that lucky dog spot. And he's racing the guys in 15th or so.
When's the best time to come on to pit road here, Justin? Is here comes Mercurio for the lead.
That's going to be the tough thing, but here we go. Mercurio prefers that bottom. But Basin knows that middle line had struggled a bit in terms of being able to fully hold on here and there. He's trying that top. Remember, Basin has been really running the wall in those types of scenarios several times tonight to try and get cleaner air, try and change it up.
So now I'll ask you, when's the best time to pit with 62 laps to go?
I think you have to run the tank dry in most situations here because the cautions have flown right at the tail end or just in the middle of the pit window so far during the long runs. You do not want to get pinched a lap down. The best example, Brandon Hawken. Yes, he's been able to recover to the top 10 now, but here's the problem. It took him 100 laps to do that because he didn't pit during a caution flag, and that turned out to be the right call if you pit under said caution. So in other words, for that, Jacob, I think you have to try and go to around that 40 or 30 to go mark, realistically speaking here, depending on your strategy.
Mercurio trying to reel in Basin just a hair faster that last time. Michael Guest faster than both of them. 60 laps to go here from Charlotte.
Mercurio still getting a good amount of runs because of that draft down the front stretch in the quad oval. The thing is, Basin's using an outside line to really ramp away. Mercurio's to the side draft though.
Here we go. For the lead. Side by side. Could this play into the hands of Michael Guest? Still side by side. Mercurio loose. That gets Basin back out in front. Here comes Guest on the high side looking for second.
Well, and Guest nearly got squeezed in the wall with the block to hold off to that line for Basin.
Guest takes second away from Mercurio.
Oh, and look at that. Guest forced the mistake. Basin couldn't block it.
For the lead, Michael Guest. Out in front, down in the grass. Leads the lap. He's clear. Basin trying to get in line for second. He stays up top. And I think he might be able to fit in line here. Behind Guest. Yes, sir. Michael Guest to the lead.
So about 20 laps out from their expected pit stops. That puts them at about 37 laps to go. Basin, I think now, think big picture. Hold on to the track position. It's a good spot for the 04. Long run, as we've seen, has been the major point. Guest has been one of the top drivers long run. We've seen how conservative he was, waiting for his chance riding behind Ray in the first place.
Let's see how patient he is on the race to decide. Yep, it's time to come to pit road. With 57 laps to go, we are closing in on the window where they can pit and make it to the end. The question now has to be, how early do you make the move?
And remember, one caution can completely flip that script upside down and throw it into the trash bin.
Ethan Corder, who was already a million laps down, has parked the car, left the server done for the night.
It's the tame portion of the race once again for now. You think big picture. You get yourself set up to be able to pounce in the later stages here. Get in position. That's the critical mark to be able to execute your strategy to win this race. And you just have to hope it stays clean if you want it to stay green. That's the critical part. If you think that gets you the win. Brandon Hawken, I think he wants to pass this 29 and then some. Damage to the front, damage to the side.
Oh man, and Hawken cannot hold the bottom. He had trouble in 1 and 2. Trouble again in 3 and 4. King with the launch on the high side. Kevin King trying to take this P9 spot away. Hawken trying to stick it to him here, back to 1. And Kevin King is not giving much room. He is pinching him all the way down to the white line.
Kevin King, massive squeezing here. He does not want Hawken to gain points on him and gain this track position. Another hard squeeze, not even barely an inch. One little slip up from Hawken here, and it's disaster. That's how close the margin is and how careful you need to be if you're Hawken.
Back to one. King's really able to hold that outside line pretty well. And of course, Michael Rosero back in 11th. He's starting to reel in these two since they're still side by side. Hawken has the better run on entry, but King's just able to pull right back around through center and exit. Almost dead even here coming to the line.
And keep in mind, Hawken, one of the friendliest drivers you'll meet on the platform from Lindsay, Ontario. Always known to have a smile on his face. King might not have a smile on his face himself because they're losing ground now with all this to the cars in front. Although they are pulling away from the cars behind them still.
Still side by side for position number 9 with Matt dancing right in front of him. These two neck and neck, and I think finally King may have got it. No, he watched up the racetrack too much. Overdrove the center of the corner. And here comes Hawken right back on the low side.
I think that was more so because Hawken nearly sideswiped him. That give and take is just about gone here. This can be draining on both their tires here to run side by side. 10 laps at this point. Somebody you think clears on by. Keep in mind, 28 laps now into their stint. Another push-up for Hawken. I think his tires are starting to get a little bit too roasted.
Gotta wonder if that's what's going on. King still holding the line up on that outside.
And I think he has to be aware. Tight in 1 and 2 is the circumstance for the 099 below him. He needs to give that little extra bit of space because if he keeps on pinching like this, there might be trouble.
Is that the risk he wants to run?
Looks like it.
Still trying his best up on the outside. You got to think in the long run, it's really not going to help the tires of King driving that hard, but you never know. They're still just dead even side by side. King a little squirrely off the corner. How about the battle for third? Malik Ray and Brian Mercurio. Malik Ray takes over that spot. We thought Ray's tires were cooked. Well, he's back in the top 3, whether you like it or not. As finally, Brandon Hawken clears Kevin King for position number 9.
That took a while for them absolutely to sort out for this top 10 pack. But Ray, I think he's starting to find that second wind, that mid-run speed we talked about a little bit. Started coming a little bit more prevalent. He is having a saw at the wheel. Noticed after his pass with Mercurio, a full nearly turn to the left to try and avoid trouble. We have some bad news, by the way. Sean Butler, technical issues, may be done.
Rip. Hate to see it.
Zero, meanwhile, yeah.
It's bad luck gone worse for Sean. Dylan Mason pitting. Here we go.
Oh, this gets interesting. The undercut call for Mason. He will absolutely try and utilize the Goodyear Eagles to their fullest. Will the luck of the tires work out his way here?
Here's the money stop. Can't speed. Can't do anything on pit row that could cost you your chance to go to victory lane in the FTF World 600. That's what everybody is thinking about right now. Gotta be perfect in and out of pit road whenever you decide to make that green flag stop. Michael Guest continues to lead. with 44 laps to go.
Keep in mind when it comes to Basin, start 8 of the season for him. And in his entire time in the Cup Series, a chance for a first career victory if he can hold on. He hasn't made a race since Darlington, where he DNF'd. Remember, his best run before tonight, Dover in 8th. Guest now tries to pull away half a second up.
And Dover, remember, had that parking lot-esque crash on the back straightaway. That took out a good chunk of the field.
I remember a lot of tempers flaring up after that, with a lot of memes popping up from that one too. Meanwhile,
Made the iRacing not top 10, that's what matters.
don't you love that?
FTF.GG made 3 different appearances in that top 10, believe it or not,
Oh!
last week.
Oh, that Matt Livery's car over the track. That San Francisco Giants scheme all over the circuit for the battle for 14th. And the interesting topic to think about here, you know that designer for the paint scheme and his sponsor? He's a Kansas City Royals fan. To add to the baseball lore.
Cool.
Insult.
Well, it's a good thing they're in different divisions, and you know, one's in the American League and one is in the National League, so can't be too bad.
Baseball is baseball, though. Mercurio is coming in for pit stop.
Here
It's pit
comes
stop.
Ray. Ray is in as well, and boy, that was a really bad entry for Malik Ray there, locking the tires up. Mercurio did the same, but Ray really got out of shape.
Almost looked like Ray maybe thought, I'm closing in, I've got a chance, I've got to go. Mercurio outdid his entry yet again, though. Mercurio might jump Ray if he times it up on the exit. Guest might have to respond here. Or not.
And Malik Ray wins that race off pit road. There is Hawkin on pit road. Got to remember, part of getting in and off pit road safely is not hitting the apron and crashing it out of turn number 2 like we've seen happen at least 2 different times so far tonight.
Mercurio trying to bully the 700 off the bottom, though, off that exit, right next to Waterworth. Black flag, Wyatt Tinsley speeding.
Oh, and he just missed his box, too. That's huge for Tinsley. Just came onto pit road. Was inside the top 5. And Wyatt Tinsley's chance of winning the FTF.GG World 600K have gone up in smoke.
I think Guest at this point is just trying to run the tank dry at this point. He can go maybe another 5 laps or so before he has to come in. But the strategy everybody has to keep an eye on. Basin, 3 seconds is the gap right now over Malik Ray and Brian Mercurio with the undercut call by 5 laps.
Michael Rosero pitting this time, as is Dorman and Doucette and Zwack, and on. Here comes Michael Guest, your race leader. BR Guest onto pit road one last time. Michael P. Fresh black flag. Here comes Mercurio for the provisional race lead, and Malik Ray just blocked him down to the grass. Michael Rosero, black flag, speeding.
John Jones will have to look towards that one for Michael and testing for the future. Meanwhile, the fight is still on, yes indeed. This is critical because whoever passes on by has the first crack to get to the 04, still 2.9 seconds up the track.
So 14, make it 13 cars have yet to make a pit stop as Lucas Plessel just stopped.
Oh, and Michael Guest with the overcut. That was dangerous on the pit exit. Doesn't get the unsafe pit exit, though. It looks like he's okay.
Yep, he's good.
Oh, Naraki's not going to be good. Nearly ran over by Brandon Hawkin with the late pit call.
Well, he said he was pitting coming down the back, so I don't know.
More so turn 3, and he was the car who was right behind Guest there.
Yeah, but he still made that call pretty early. Early enough, at least. Plus, he put it in the text chat, so he said it more than once.
Sometimes you need to say it the entire race that you're pitting for people to get it.
Even then, it doesn't work.
Yes. Still, though.
Rockingham race.
Yeah. Cozy Jr. trying to roll the strategy dice as well. Kevin McAdams, Gary Waterworth, Rabideau, whatever in the 93 over Sheen as well, stretching it with Ray and Punkari, as well as Reimer and Roberts.
Yep. There's 9 guys left trying to stretch it. Gap 2.5 seconds between Basin and Ray. Malik Ray was 0.2 quicker that last time by. So he is coming in a hurry.
If it stays green, this could become a barn burner of a finish here. Keep in mind, all the contenders in that top 3 on the net strategy have unlapped themselves. Michael Guest as well. Can we just about throw into that hat right now, in fact.
Spencer Ray in. So then there were 8. And still Ray, again, another 0.2 quicker than Dylan Basin right now. And these guys should, in all likelihood, for the most part, have at least one more set in the pit to use if we get a later caution, with about 15 to go maybe. So these guys are looking okay as far as tires are concerned.
Autos called. He's coming into the pit lane from the top 5, by the way, on track. Plenty of traffic for Basin to deal with still. That cushion, 2 seconds right now. That's a lot of ground still to make up if you're Ray Mercurio. That long run tempo going to be so critical now.
Cozy's pitting this time. Art Reimer is in. Nathan Rabideau is in.
I believe Matt Spalding also took the Joker pattern in the 88 in the infield and all this. We stay green.
Yeah, he spun it. We're still green off the track. I think Cozy overshot his box, had to back up. Brett Punkari is in. So Kevin McAdams is pitting this time. He's your race leader. Gary Waterworth in second. Kevin King almost wrecked him trying to get by him. Looks like Waterworth is going to stay out.
His first lap in the series since one lap at Dover. Nice entry for McAdams, no issues. Waterworth, as you see, keeps on going. Can he time things up well here? It's down to just 2 who have yet to pit, him and Sheen.
So somehow the San Francisco...
Oh, trouble, turn 3!
Leading something, trouble.
Ray has gone into clip.
Racetrack.
Oh,
And that's Malik Ray. He got into Clint Roberts. He got turned by Spencer Burns, and Malik Ray had nowhere to go. The race, one of the top guys in the field, crashes with just 28 laps to go.
well, this changes everything and then some.
Sounds like they were wrecking on the front stretch as well, or at least trying to. Yeah, somebody went down through the grass, it looked like. How about Spencer Ray? He got sideways.
Wow. And I'm hearing Waterworth and Sheen are running out of gas. This happens right in front of Ray. Contact about here. Just no time to react.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's almost... we see a lot of that in the Xfinity Series in the past. Like at Texas. Tim Schendel and the whatever he was in. Got into, I think that was Kyle Busch. And then Kyle Busch again at Bristol back in 2010. No, that couldn't have been 2010. 2009, maybe? And Waterworth and Sheen make it to pit road without incident. Let's see if anybody else decides to pit. Ooh, yeah. These guys are pitting across the board.
See on the replay, this is the hour incident we're talking about. Ray had spun into the grass. This did not have enough to trigger a caution.
Well, this was as the caution was going on the other end. Because you see, he passes the pace car. So, the caution was out. Justin saw that, heard there was other stuff going on, and just threw it.
Well,
That
guess...
caution needed to be thrown because there were 2 cars stopped in the racing line in 3.
Absolutely, but guess who's the leader?
Kevin! He's the only guy that stayed out.
Funnily enough, I had a dream for some reason with this car a little while ago, saying, how did he become the leader? Well, the dream has come true for McAdams. My gosh.
26 laps to go. We'll step aside. We're going to restart, recap pit stops, and a whole lot more here from Charlotte. Stay with us here on FTF.GG. All right. We're going to have 23 laps to go on a restart. Kevin McAdams chooses bottom. Waterworth, bottom. Liam Sheen with no... Oh, he hit the... Yep, he hit it. Liam Sheen to the back. Liam Sheen to the back. He hit the cone. The invisible cone that's not there. He hit the choose cone. The choose line. Liam Sheen, we will be seeing you. That allows Dylan Basin to slide up, as well as Michael Guest. He takes that first spot on the outside line.
Well, that takes an equation out of this. But Basin is a good spot here. McAdams, he will have an absolute wrestling match to try and hold on here, because here's the thing when it comes to McAdams. We mentioned how the past few weeks it's been a bit of a rough patch for McAdams in general. He's made 41 starts in his career. The last time he's led more than a lap in a race, February the 5th, Rockingham. He led 3. The last time he led double-digit laps, Daytona, the week before. This is a test. Can he pass it?
All right, here we go. Kevin McAdams leads us down to the restart. 23 laps to go here at Charlotte. Green flag as the sun is arising here at Charlotte.
Good launch for McAdams. Now it's the matter, can he keep it going? A big burp of the throttle in the center of the corner with the damage.
Oh, Waterworth in trouble. He hits Nick Miller. They're sliding. They're crashing. Matthews whack into the wall. Back across the field. We stay green. Nick Miller gets the worst end of it. But we stay green because everybody was off the racing surface.
Oh!
Kevin leads. Now the caution's out because we got more trouble.
Oh, and
Latches
wow!
around. Oh, no. Liam Sheen involved. The 53 of Ryan Nalraki is up against the outers in the racing line. Caution is out again, and it was Jake Poulin who lost it. Matthew Zwack hit the wall. Nalraki spun. He got the pit barrels. And Liam Sheen had nowhere to go but right into Nalraki and hard into the outside wall. Here's the whole crash-tacular last lap.
See, right there just got way tight. An issue, it looks like, even with the gears. Good save by Waterworth, although he had to use Whack as a ramp. And then those are the two that darn on by. It looks okay for now. Until Zwack. Wow.
Poulin hit the apron and was just trying to save it the whole way. There's Nalraki, clips the barrels, back up the track, didn't hold the, he didn't hold the brakes until he was almost back on the track.
Good morning, Pack.
Oh, we do have a ruling, though, from Blake Reynolds explaining his accident. He didn't necessarily get loose. His computer locked up for a second. Lost inputs. That's why it looked weird when he went straight into the outside wall, because he wasn't turning the car. That's why it went
wow.
straight. Yikes. Heartbreak for Blake Reynolds.
That's the worst time possible to have a technical issue in the heart of the corner exit. When you're in a battle such as that, when you have no idea what's going on for that, even that split second, even half a second is enough to be disaster.
So Kevin McAdams continues to lead the way with 20 laps to go. We're going to restart inside, 20 laps to go.
I still think it's going to be an absolute challenge to hold on here because Guest is quick alone run. It's just a matter of time to set it up. Dylan Basin, he's made it clear once already. If you let him go 3 wide, he'll strip you off the bottom and quickly. And Mercurio, well, it's Brian. What else is there to say?
Speaking of Dylan Basin, let's talk with the driver that's in P3 with 2 good years on his side. What do you think? Inside 20 to go. Do you got a shot to win this thing?
I think so, man. It's kind of tough on the situation we're in because I don't know how long Kevin can last in the lead with that damage, and I know Gas is fast, so trying to think of a way to get around him right now and also keep off Mercurio and Kevin behind me because I know they're quick too. So far, we've run a good race. Hopefully, I can keep it at least in the top 5. These Goodyear tires that help me out. They're my good luck charms. And I'll make a good show for y'all.
It's been a long night. Are you tired or something?
Indeed.
Well, we'll let you choose here. Best of luck on the restart, Dylan.
Yep, thank you.
Dylan Basin, E3 on the racetrack. They'll come around here. They'll choose. Not this time. Why?
Lights are on.
Why did we not?
They're lap cars.
Gosh.
Jacob, it's okay.
Okay.
Remember how we talked about how happy we were about 50 laps ago? There were something around 30 cars in the lead lap. We're down to 20 on the lead lap, by the way, keeping track from home and at score. At this point,
Going down.
your scoring mechanisms may start having a little bit of sunshine needed to be able to keep them functioning if they're solar powered. Oh wait, the sun is out, as we said. But with 17 to try and dart this around, if you're a short run driver in terms of speed, you're going now. You're making some moves. You're being dirty.
All right, so upcoming here on FTF.GG, the Road to Pro Finale Spectacular, the NASCAR Qualifying iRacing Series, 4 splits at once here on FTF.GG. Evan Pasoko and James Pike will lead us through all 4 splits, so I'll be covering individual splits as we go through the night. Should be a lot of fun as we finish out the field of 70 that'll make the show and move on to round number 2. That's 9 o'clock on Thursday. The FTF All-Star Race is Saturday. I won't be here. I'll be in actual Charlotte. The All-Star Race being held at the LA Coliseum here for FTF. That's Saturday, a week from about an hour ago. At right around 10 o'clock Eastern. And Winsdale returns in just a couple of weeks, June 5th, from Michigan. That's what's coming up here on FTF.GG. And with these final 5 seconds, for those of you in the Central Time Zone, we would like to welcome you to Sunday, May 22nd, the year of our Lord of 2022. You made it to the next day. Happy midnight. For those of you on the East Coast, happy 1 o'clock. Those of you out west, you still got a couple hours to go. Pace cars in. McAdams and Guest will be our guest here for the restart. 17 laps to settle it. Green flag.
Well, that was a little bit of a smush to the front bumper of Basin with a bit of a checkup. Still a good launch for McAdams, though, after using Basin as a little bit of a Hot Wheels launcher.
And Basin's going to be clear for second here on Guest. And Guest is crashing. No, he saved it. How in the world did he save that?
Because he NASCAR.
On.
My gosh.
That thing was pointed to the infield, and here comes Basin for the lead. Those tires, I don't think they were made for driving. There goes Dylan Basin to the front. He takes the lead away from Kevin McAdams, and here comes Guest to the bottom for second.
And at this point, Basin has to play major defense or he puts himself on the wall.
Here comes Guest. Basin up to block McAdams. Here comes Mercurio. Caution. Miller and Spencer Ray. And that's going to put Michael Guest in the lead, I think, when the caution came out.
The tempers are flaring because that was timed on the scoring loops. 2 seconds earlier, it's Basin in the lead. 2 seconds later, it's Basin in the lead, probably. But oh boy, that battle at the back of the pack, Spencer Ray, it's not been pretty. Right to the back of the Miller. And boop.
Eesh. Here's another angle. Oh, just got run over. Then got him back. Hard wreck. Oh, and Spencer Ray had it saved, and then he hooked it back up the track.
No one hit him, though.
Otherwise, we would have stayed green, but because he hooked it back up in front of the racetrack, it drew the caution. Well, all right.
The Ice Cream Social will have a lot of thrown ice cream cones by mid-afternoon, by the time we likely finish the race in Sim. Don't you know that the Ice Cream Social also comes with a pair of boxing gloves with your ice cream cone, so you're ready to have a nice, cool, soft ice cream cone with your punch to the face. What? Are you okay?
Oh, no. Oy, oy, oy.
Oh boy. I will say this. Basin's got a lot of motivation, and not just the tires now, to try and push this here.
The next race we get here on FTF.GG, here on FTF, is Daytona Road Course on a Sunday. Oh, it's a double header in 2 weeks. Helps if you read. So we're at Gateway Saturday, 2 weeks from tonight, or 2 weeks from last night, I guess. That's on bottom split, and then Sunday night, we're at Daytona Road Course for the Racing Experts 200. Please, Lord, don't let that be 246 laps.
We'll make it 350 for you.
Yeah. I'll just so happen to not show up that week. Then we got two off weeks before we go to Nashville Super Speedway. And Road America. And Landon Mills is accusing me of saying that we would be going past 1 a.m. I said we should be done by 1 a.m. I was wrong. Horribly at this rate.
My prediction then is probably not going to come true. Check a flag at 2 a.m. Yes.
If we do that, I am off at 1:30. Thankfully, we only have 3 green and white checkers, so I don't think we're going to hit that, but...
Oh boy, though, this has been a night.
We're going to have 11 to go in the restart.
At this point, there is a lot of different ways this can break out. I don't know if you can even predict a winner at this point. Guest is the favorite. Basin also near favorite. Then everybody else, it's a toss-up.
I like Basin over Guest, but that's just me. Time to choose. Basin goes top. Guest goes bottom. Kevin McAdams also drops down to the bottom. See the choose line, center of your screen. Kind of sort of the center of your screen, close enough.
Oh, and somebody hit it. It's the 125 Landon Mills again.
Don't forget, FTF is right back at it in 12 hours. FTF 1 kicks off at, where are we, Bill? Indianapolis? Oh, Barcelona. Yuck.
Well,
1 p.m. start from Barcelona. Hey.
It's Spain. It's a track that can bring challenges. And remember, FTF1 had a lot of different challenges. Ocean Walsh really putting his stamp putting on a show on the road course that last year. It carried over to a lot of big events afterwards with that car.
Pace car is in. 9 laps to go. 9. How about 11 laps to go? I can read. Green flag.
Oh, and is that a lane change?
Oh, for Guest. Or no, for Basin. Restart under review. Dylan Basin may have just thrown this race away. Stretch.
Absolute brain fade if that was indeed the case. It was clear cut. Pass through penalty.
For Basin. Changing lanes before the start-finish line. Dylan Basin has just thrown away a shot at the FTF.GG World 600K in the last 11 laps.
How do you go nearly 600 kilometers and then throw it away on that? That is heartbreak for one of the quickest drivers of the night. Contact a bit behind him.
And Doucette bouncing off the wall. Here comes Basin. Everybody avoids him. 9 laps to go from Charlotte. It's now a battle between Michael Guest and Brian Mercurio. Mercurio 2/10 slower that last time by.
He was fighting with Hawken and company, though. What a recovery, though, for Hawken. From a bad strategy call early in stage 1 to the top 3 now, fighting possibly for the win.
Kevin McAdams stuck side by side with Doucette. That's for 4th. Kevin King and Cozy side by side right behind. Nice little rebound for King, getting himself back into the top 6. A little more even between Guest and Mercurio that last time by, but the gap's still 0.6 of a second.
Still see McAdams doesn't want to lose too much more ground. Top 5, still would be one of his best runs on a speedway this season. But Cozy Jr.'s coming, Kanan's coming. He took 2 during the last pit stop under caution. Plussel is coming.
7 laps to go, and all the side-by-side battle is for 5th on back. Cozy and King, side by side, almost beating door panels down the backstretch.
On Kane again, going for the squish attempts. Cozy Jr., though, we've seen in the past, usually not as happy with the squeezing.
He wants that room, even if it's late in the race.
Boy, forced the room. No. Still good respect shown amongst them. Bit of bobbling contact behind him.
Oh, trouble! Rosero saves it. No, it's Plessel. I'm sorry, they got turned by Oates. But Plessel hangs on. 5 laps to go. Caution! Trouble on the front straightaway. Jake Poulin is around. He got the wall, got loose, hit the wall, and then got hit by Art Reimer and Jake Poulin. That thing is batter, dipped, and fried. And Michael Guest, right now, I think, just put his head on the steering wheel. Like, why? Why? We're running away with it. And now he has to go through another restart. Here's the replay.
Too high. Simple as that. Some dirty air. Pushes him up a touch. Overruns the corner exit as well with the bobble and that dirty air. Rocky just know where to really go, and the same can be said for Reimer. And now, you really have to nail the start. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, this is going to put us in overtime attempt 1 of 3. That helps Dylan Basin.
He's still in
Stuck in 20th, yeah.
I was about to say, that's not going to help him in that far back.
Unless they wreck again and it takes more guys out in front of him and he can avoid it. Which I wouldn't roll it out at this point.
At about 8 cars apiece, maybe. It's worth noting he's taking some Goodyear Eagles probably here. Because at this point, why not?
Yeah. And he will. Art Reimer pits as well. Gary Waterworth is in. Waterworth gets back on the lead lap.
I think this start's going to be pretty crazy, though. Guest and Mercurio. We've seen Guest be good as the control car. Mercurio's been good at guessing the starts, though. I think it's down to those two. With how it's played out, as long as things stay clean, should say. By the way, shout out to the glass car running on track at a very, very respectable 90 laps down, Chris Wetz.
You're kidding. He's back out on the... Oh, my. He is. Yeah.
He came out a couple cautions ago.
He was dead last. He has passed 5 cars. He won't pass anymore. He's locked into 38th. Watches the Masked Singer. Cool. Don't think anybody asked. Ethan Corder, Cosmo Ionescu, AJ Green, Nate Stewart, and Blake Reynolds have all been passed by Wetz since he's returned to the racetrack. 90 laps down.
This is why you complete the laps, right?
Yeah. There's no crash clock. Otherwise, we hadn't had 4 cars left by now, but...
I mean, that's being very generous. Choose next time by. Green, white, checkered is official. 2 laps to decide it. Here, 3 attempts available.
Let's not use all 3, huh?
I mean, there are 19, check that, 21 cars still in the lead lap. You never know what's going to happen here.
I'm so out of it. I thought for sure you were going to say there are 19 scoring loops around this track and just go full Bill Weber on us, but...
Well, actually, that's a
use them.
How many scoring loops are there at Charlotte on iRacing is a good question for Jake Poulin for after the day and after the night. I don't think it's his department, but it still is a good question. But I think the choice of the line will be critical for some. We've seen the counter strategies played in a few times. I would be surprised to see again that switch about. Question is, does Guest use top or bottom?
We're choosing. Michael Guest is taking the outside. Mercurio goes down low. Let's ride on board with Brett Poncari because we haven't used his camera, even though we used it. There he is, back in 13th. There it is. VR.
Blue Goose Daisy Racing driver. All the field needs to do is complete 3 miles, and he gets to sit in that recliner.
I think he's sitting in that recliner no matter what. I wish I was in that recliner right about now, or a recliner.
You can always buy one.
Yeah. All right. Like this race wasn't long enough, we get a green-white checker to settle the score. Michael Guest, Brian Mercurio on the front row for the first attempt at a green-white checker. Who's going to get the job done? Green flag. Here we go. Good start for Mercurio down to the bottom.
That was near perfect.
Yeah, Guest still clear though. And how about Doucette peeking to the bottom? Can't quite get there. With Hawkett up top. If they can make it around to the white flag, this race is official. This race, caution for crying out loud. Wrecking for 30th.
It's Basin.
Frisch, Basin, Fetter Place, for crying out loud.
Well, the Goodyear Eagles, I think the luck has gone away from the tires.
Gary Waterworth just lost it and came up into Basin and junked him. Came down into Frisch. Hard shots to the inside wall. Parking lot. Disappointment.
I think Dylan has to be hugging the Goodyear tires right now. The ones he's with. Again, it's Waterworth you mentioned. You see in the background.
Got loose, yeah.
Oh, man, for Frisch, just nowhere to go. He was as low as he can get.
It's laughable that I just heard there's no point in shortening the caution. Are we sure about that? Have we looked at the clock? At this point, we're going to go to another time anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But Michael Guest leads. We're under caution for the 842nd time, even though I think I said 867th earlier on. Here's the onboard with Chris Wetz. He made it.
Good use of the brakes.
Yeah.
I think he's the only one who wants to see more caution laps. I mean, if he gets more caution laps, he passes Jacob Case. He just needs 8 more.
I don't think he's going to get that in one more caution.
Waterworth has blown his motor.
Waterworth, we'll be seeing you. Just like the actual Giants, falling apart at the end when it matters most.
They won several World Series at the start of last decade, though.
Yeah, and how'd they finish the last decade? Last place.
Wow.
Maybe not that bad, but I know it wasn't good. I know the Phillies suck at everything and we haven't made a World Series in more than 10 years, but... What a fall from grace to hell the San Francisco Giants have had.
And this continues to just be a puzzle piece and then some, it seems, to sort things out.
Yep.
But a lot of the drivers at this point, I think, have to be kind of screaming internally. Others are, I think, in smile time. Why don't we talk to the driver who's happy with the sunshine, Kevin McAdams? Are you happy in 6th?
I'm surprised I'm in 6th. I've been stuck with engine damage for about 200 miles now, and thanks to just pure dumb luck, pitted at the right time, got the lead. And I think Hawken, Mercurio, Guest are all pretty solid when it comes to their cars. Doucette's got a little bit of damage, King's got a little bit of damage, Danson's got a little bit as well, but I think I'm a little bit worse with my engine damage. I'm just trying to hang on here and try to have a good points day. Frisch obviously is leading the points, and he's not having a good points day. I don't think I'm going to close up to him, but a solid top 10 is exactly what the doctor ordered, and I'm hoping to file the prescription here any minute.
The interesting thing amongst today is, at the top of the cautions with the lead laps, you had 10 on the docket for lead laps. That's your most lead laps at a non-super speedway in the past 2 years. Overall, how would you describe the season, though, in general, to get yourself into this position where you've had a few top 5 runs this year?
I mean, yeah, I think there's a few guys, especially these Coke guys, that come in and out of the series and they run either full-time or part-time. It's just hard to get wins, and I know that it's not necessarily a long shot for me to win, but I got to have the cards play right. Let me choose here real quick. But it's not as easy as it was back in the NR 2003 days. So I try to just points race, get a few stage points here and there. If I can lead a lap, I'll lead a lap. But I know my place, and that's why it's easier for me to think backwards, think strategically, not go for the win every single time. Just think what's going to get me the most points, because at the end of the day, that's probably how I'm going to get into playoffs. I'm doing really well. My teammate Naraki's doing really well right now in the points, and we try to focus on that pretty much the entire year.
Once you get to the restart. Thank you very much, Kevin.
Thank you.
That's Kevin McAdams. And a crash under caution. What?
God's sake. Landon Mills just crashed. He just came up off pit road and spun.
They did not.
Never.
I've seen it a few times. They did not extend the yellow, but
Good.
Guest and Mercurio, can they duke it out?
Second verse, same as the first. Guest on the bottom. Mercurio up top this time. Green flag. Guest is gone. And Mercurio, we can't change lanes. Stay up there. There we go. That was close. Try it again. They make the white flag. It's over. They crash before the white flag, and we get a caution. We get to do this crap one more time. Here we come off turn 2.
No spinnies off turn 2. Guest in a great spot. Clean air. Mercurio can't find a way to close up. If anything, he's stabilizing for the white.
White flag in the wind. One more lap to go from Charlotte. Michael Guest looking to come away with the win here in the long race, the wee small hours of the morning. Brian Mercurio trying to reel him in. He's still losing time off 2.
Guest, he's been in position all night long to be able to pounce for the mistakes. He's been patient all night. Just a final set of corners to close it out on the 74.
Michael Guest off 4. In the wee small hours, wins the FTF.GG World 600K. And they're crashing. Go figure. Kevin King. I think that's basing up into the wall. He gets drop kicked. Hard crash.
My goodness, what a night. They're wrecking in turn 2 as well for 11th.
Oh,
they're wrecking
upside down in 3.
I think everybody is currently having the tradition of FTF where you wreck all the cars. Guest has the cleanest car out of anybody left.
Did the Carl Edwards impersonation there. Didn't hit the manhole cover. But he'll burn it down. Let's go through our results. Michael Guest, your winner. Brian Mercurio finishes in 2nd. Braden Hawken finishes in 3rd. Ryan Doucette 4th. Gavin McAdams in 5th. Kevin King 6th. Matt Danson and Michael Cozy Jr. 7th and 8th. Wyatt Tinsley, nice rebound. He finishes 9th. Nick Miller somehow gets a top 10.
11th spot tonight, Jonathan Oates in his Ford. Then is the Chevrolet of Lucas Plussel in 12th. Brett Pancari finishes in 13th. Matthews Wack in 14th. Rocky after starting in 43rd to 15th. That will make Justin Malone happy a bit. Then Rabideau starts in 29th, goes to 16th. Matt Spalding in 17th. Spencer Burns spent much of the race a lap down, finishing in 18th. Robert Dorman 19th. Art Reimer in 20th.
21st, 2 laps down, Michael Rosero, Clint Roberts in 22nd, Jake Poole in 23rd, Gary Waterworth, DNF in 24th. Everybody from here on back, for the most part, did not finish. Andy Margot 25th, Dylan Basin 26th, Frisch 27th, Brandon Fetter plays his debut, finishes 28th, Spencer Ray 29th, Seth Noel finishes 30th.
31st spot goes to Liam Sheen, 28 laps down after a top 10 start. Malik Ray was in the conversation to win the race. Then disaster struck. Landon Mills finishes behind him. Sean Butler after his struggles in 34th. Garrett Conrath 35th. Jordan Worth 36th. He went and played Daisy after his crash. Jacob Case in 37th. 2 laps ahead of Chris Wetz, the last car running in the pack. After a technical issue, Blake Reynolds finished in 39th. Nate Stewart 40th. He was upset, to say the least, after his run. AJ Green, Cosman, and Ethan Corder round out the 43 entrants.
Michael Guest, your race winner. Had a lot of luck on your side. Long night. Able to get the checkered flag.
Yeah, it was a good race. I felt like I had pretty good speed throughout the entire thing. It wasn't my kind of setup, but I was able to get the clean air and roll the bottom, like a really low entry and a really low exit, and it seemed to work out most of the time. But yeah, it definitely fell into my favor with a couple of those cautions. Early me and Malik got off strategy, and it kind of set us up for the race. After that, I was always kind of either up front or on new tires heading for the front. So yeah, that was definitely a good race.
Without Malik's wreck and without Dylan Bason's restart violation late in the going, do you think he still would have won this race, or do you think he would have had harder competition there at the very end?
It's hard to say. The dirty air was pretty massive. It was really hard to pass, and after Malik and Brian undercut me, I wasn't sure if I was gonna catch back up or not. I was gaining some good time, but it all evens out eventually, so I wasn't sure. But then I was on 2 tires at the end, and I definitely thought I lost it to Dylan once he got ahead of me. I almost wrecked trying to stay side by side with him. He definitely threw me a bone there, getting tied and hitting the wall or whatever happened, because I don't think I would have gotten back beside him.
Well, nonetheless, congratulations on the race win. The All-Star race next week, you're in that. And then we'll see you in a couple of weeks at the doubleheader at Gateway and Daytona. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. It was fun going green tonight.
Michael Guest, your race winner here from Charlotte. Second place belonging to Brian Mercurio with Justin Prince.
Brian, you slowly moved your way into the conversation in the early going and stayed there the rest of the night. How would you describe the long night here at Charlotte?
Yeah, that was pretty fun. Once we actually got going there and got some green flag runs there, running up front with Kevin, Guest, Malik, Blake for a little bit too. It was a grand old time. Kind of enjoyed it. Kind of stinks that in the middle of some of those runs, we right after we got green flag stops, we'd get a caution. So I would have loved to see how that would have kind of shook about, however you put it. But yeah, either way was fun. Just kind of put myself up front, and then I think Guest took 2 there on that final stop, and I was kind of banking on us getting maybe a short run and then one more caution, and then I can come in and take 2. But kind of knowing this, I wouldn't say this league, but just how the end of these races tend to go, we get a lot of cautions. So easy move would have just been to stay out, and that's what he did, and he just had the track position over me.
And you mentioned a lot of the positives there. It's been an intriguing campaign in general, it seems, this year. You've been in contention from the get-go. Once the trot 3 wins, that season high for the whole series. How would you describe that run now, approaching the All-Star weekend in about a week or so time?
I think it'd be fun. It's been a pretty good season so far. Would have been cool to make it 3 in a row here. I don't even remember where I won last year. But I'd run good for a lot of those races last year, but I always had a hard time kind of closing it all and tying it all together. So to already have 3 wins on the season and almost get a 4th tonight, it's pretty cool. Once we run up front there and get to run with a bunch of really good people, just make it competitive for the whole time. It's a lot of fun. So it's been a good season so far. Hoping I'll hit the start requirement. I think I'm going to be missing a few races here over the summer stretch. So just hoping I have enough starts, trying to get as many as I can in now, so in case I miss a few before the playoffs start. But it's been a pretty good season so far.
Well, with that, let you take a bit of a breath. Congratulations on the 2nd, and it seems like for many it's been a long night. Let you get some rest there. Starting to pop up there, Brian.
Yeah, I got a little bit of rest here. I can't get too much though, because we got our Coke Series race coming up here on Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, running at Charlotte. A little bit of a shorter race than what we had tonight, but still been putting a lot of time into that race. So looking forward to get my number 36 Letarte Esports Chevy Camaro. Hopefully we can get a good finish in the Tuesday night race. I've never really been a fan of Charlotte, but I don't know. As of recent, I've been kind of turning a corner on it. So I know it's a fixed setup in a league race tonight, but if it's anything, it gives me a little bit of confidence going into that race too. So always good to run here. Always good to run well with a bunch of competitive people. So good old time.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Thanks, guys.
Brian Mercurio, 2nd spot tonight. Meanwhile, for Brandon Hawken, who's with Jacob Hitz, plenty of smiles for somebody who at one point was nearly dead last after the pit strategy calls early.
Well, Brandon's still muted, so hopefully we do get a chance to talk with him. There we go. Unmuted himself now. Brandon, how in the world did you come home P3?
Man, I'm not sure. I was going for stage points early on, and I was on the with the group of people that were staying out, and once I think there were like a couple of us that didn't pit at all under the first 3 cautions, and there was a group of us that pitted under the 2nd caution, I think, and like once I was like out front there, I was pretty much committed. So yeah, like I stayed out, and then right after the stage end, I had about 9 laps of gas or something like that left. So I came in, stayed a lap down for quite a while, but I knew it was a long race. So you know, I probably would have gone about that differently, and maybe try to get stage points in the next stage. But yeah, like after getting the lucky dog there, it was just a matter of working my way back up, and yeah, it was a really clean race for the most part. So yeah, had lots of green flag running and a lot of opportunity to make up position. So yeah, at the end there, just kind of yeah, I guess I just chose the right lines and everything fell into place there. There was a couple close calls, but man, yeah, I'm really happy with that. It's been a really up and down season, mostly down, but yeah, really happy to get a really solid position here.
Still looking for that first win on the season. Came mighty close here toward the end of this deal. What do you think here after the All-Star race? Gateway into the Daytona Road Course coming up back to back.
Yeah, I'm definitely the most excited for the Daytona Road Course. I love road course racing, so that's going to be the one that I really work towards, and hopefully we can come up with a W at some point during the season. We've come close a few times, but haven't quite got it yet. So yeah, looking forward to those, and man, yeah, it's gonna be like. Still, I think we're only like halfway through the season or something. So yeah, still a long way to go. Hopefully have a few more opportunities to go grab a win. And man, it was just great racing up there with everybody. I know Kevin King. I think I had him. I was side by side with him for at least like 10 or so laps. That was a lot of fun. And yeah, congrats to Michael, Brian, Ryan, Kevin McAdams. Man, that was yeah, just really good race. And yeah, looking forward to the ones to come for sure.
Well, congratulations on the top 3. See you after the All-Star race in 2 weeks' time. Won't see you at Gateway, but we'll see you back at the Daytona Road Course 2 Sundays from now.
Oh, for sure. Have a good one, guys.
Brandon Hawken finishing in 3rd tonight from Charlotte. Well, we made it, and this thing is a done deal from Charlotte. And, well, it's probably like 11 o'clock in Sim right about now, but it's 1:35 on the Eastern Seaboard, so I'm going to bed. For Zach Johnson, our producer, and Justin Prince alongside me, I'm Jacob Pitts. Michael Guest, your winner tonight from Charlotte. The All-Star race next week. We'll see you then. Good night.